lying about the circumstances surrounding Bland's 2015 arrest in Prairie View, Texas. The Villa Park native was found dead several days later in her jail cell. Her death ruled a suicide. President Trump met with the Cubs at the White House yesterday. The president making the comment that the Cubs are great enough to have 2 visits to the White House and celebrate their world championship last fall. Aaron Judge belts his Major League leading 27th home run. Struggling Yankees pound the White Sox 12-3. Sox skipper Rick Renteria has been ejected for the 3rd time in 6 games after getting tossed against the Yankees. Steven Strasburg struck out 13 in 7 innings, helping the Nationals to an 8-4 win over the Cubs. Rough day for the Cubs, who lost reigning NL MVP Chris Bryant to an apparent right ankle injury in the 6th inning. The news, a service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today, just $19.99 plus $3 disposal fee for tires, oil, service, and repairs. National Tire and Battery. That's all you need. 5:06. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
According to the forecast, it's going to be a long, hot summer. Russian collusion.
James Comey.
Obstruction of justice.
Impeachment.
White House leaks. Jeff Sessions. Climate change. Islamic terrorism. Vladimir Putin.
Join AM 560's Joe Walsh for a very special event on Tuesday, August 22nd. It's the Summer of Trump, live at the Bolingbrook Golf Club, hosted by Joe Walsh and featuring Hugh Hewitt and Guy Benson. Tickets are available now at 560theanswer.com/summer. That's 560theanswer.com/summer.
I hate cleaning my gutters. I kept hearing ads for that gutter guard system, so I thought, why not? I'll get an estimate. I was shocked. I never thought gutter guards could cost so much. Then I heard about Spring Rock gutter guards. The estimate is free, so it made sense to at least compare them. I was shocked again by how much money they saved me. I'm talking thousands, like enough to take my family to Disney World. They take a different approach to gutter protection. A completely closed design keeps all types of debris out of your gutters. Sure, those higher-priced systems may keep the leaves out, but Spring Rock gets the job done at up to half the price with no compromise on quality. Spring Rock also comes with the same lifetime warranty. If the gutter system ever clogs, they will clean it out for free, no questions asked. Same result for less money. That's smart. There's more than one option when it comes to gutter guards. Compare today and save at springrockgutters.com or call 708-571-0632. Special financing is available. Drain your gutters, not your wallet.
All that extra weight is messing with your health, your sleep, your social life, even your love life. Time to take control. I'm Dr. Frank Marticello, and that's exactly what I did. I always worked out, worked hard, and no matter what I did, I couldn't lose that weight. I then saw a picture of myself, and that's what did it. I had to search for a solution. I found the ideal method. I lost 80 pounds, opened Total Life Weight Loss, and that was 9 years ago, and I've kept it off. Listen to this.
I hated being on meds needed only because I was overweight. I was tired of being tired and wearing black all the time. So I turned to Total Life Weight Loss. It was truly a life changer. Total Life Weight Loss gave me support and strategies to get rid of the weight and maintain my new current weight. I love the way I look and feel.
This is a medically developed protocol that helps you lose weight fast, get healthy, and keep it off for life. Call Total Life Weight Loss now at 708-695-5999 to book your free metabolic assessment or attend one of our free educational workshops. Again, that's 708-695-5999.
5:09. Let's get a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. In Schiller Park, on Irving Park, right off Irving Park, in the 4200 block North River Road, we got a water rescue going on, so there's a lot of police activity in that area. The roadwork delays on the outbound ride, 87th to 95th. Got 3 left lanes blocked for some beam installation at the 95th Street station. Northbound I-65 remains closed from State Road 114 in Rensselaer up to State Road 14 after a major wreck which happened earlier this morning. We'll have traffic at Olympia Fields for the Women's PGA Championship getting started today at Olympia Fields Country Club. Elsewhere, the expressways and tollways look pretty good. We do have some traffic signal issues here and there, including downtown where LaSalle meets Wacker. Traffic is a service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today, just $19.99 plus $3 disposal fee. For tires, oil, service, and repairs, National Tire and Battery, that's all you need. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour with occasional rain and a thunderstorm. During the midday, high 83. Severe evening thunderstorm watch for flash flooding and damaging winds will have a low tonight of 69. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
Currently, we have 60 at O'Hare, 58 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Tasty Catering. The best picnic food in Chicago comes from TastyCatering.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. LPGA event down at my club, Olympia Fields.
Oh, it's
starting
your
today.
club now? And if you're
well,
driving...
I'm a member.
Okay.
It's not my club. I'm just a member.
Okay.
But I wanted to make note of that because, I'm routinely accused of misogyny and such things. And I'm
Sexism, yeah.
Yeah, right. That's me. I know because
You don't like women's sports.
Because I don't believe Serena Williams could beat Andy Murray either. So I'm a sexist. Okay.
All right. So your club, it's LPGA is going on this week, right?
Yeah, the LPGA's PGA Championship down at Olympia Fields, and we're all very excited about it down at the club.
And if you do drive down there, don't drive in the left lane. That lane is reserved for Dan Proft.
That's right. Exactly. And since this is be the first time in a long time that anybody other than me will be driving south of the city.
Exactly.
Because of property taxes turning the Southland into a demilitarized zone, I'm sorry to say. But yeah, they expect about 8,000 people a day.
Good.
Yeah.
I'd go if I could, but I can't.
I
can't, so I won't.
And again, not to blow my own horn, but if I don't, who will?
Exactly.
My magnanimity, I did extend
Yes.
tickets because we get tickets to both Mike Scott because I know he's got girls that are athletes
Yes.
and
Well,
as
he
well
has
as
one
you.
daughter, but that's okay.
Well,
Girls.
he's a
Melissa's
family of
young,
athletes. Yes, a family of athletes, and he follows every woman's sport on the face of the planet.
Exactly.
That's the other reason.
He loves
No.
the WNBA, the LPGA.
Yeah.
I'm
that's
not
okay.
following women's curling this morning.
No.
Thank you.
All right.
See,
It
he's
is
taking a
off
break.
limits.
I thought you're just turning that over to BBM. They're going to have free reign on that.
Yes.
Oh, great. And also to Peyton and Eli and your brood.
Yeah.
So,
But we,
all I
we're
can
busy.
do
We're
is
playing
offer.
volleyball.
Yeah.
We're
I can
all
do
about
is
volleyball. But we did
bring
golf
the-
last week, so that was good. I got some money in my pocket.
Yeah.
I got a hundo right here. Right?
You saw your guy before the show. Okay. All right, good.
And I have a side hustle too, Dan.
All right, so the topic du jour is media because it's very interesting to see what happened yesterday after the CNN retraction of the Scaramucci story.
Scaramucci, hey!
Thank you. And
I'm still warming up my pipes. La 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 la.
and the Project Veritas undercover video of most notably John Bonifield, who's the supervising producer at CNN, where he basically says, what we do is for ratings, journalistic ethics. That's an adorable conversation. It has nothing to do
So cute.
with the cable news business. And the Russia story is a nothing burger. And frankly, President Trump is right to say he's being witch hunted. That's the sum total of what John Bonifield said. So there's a second Project Veritas, James O'Keefe video that was released yesterday. It is much less stirring than the Bonifield video, but it features Obama suck toy Van Jones, who is, I think he has a show on CNN.
Mm-hmm.
He does he? Yeah,
He
I
does
don't know.
now.
But anyway,
It's called the Van Jones Show.
It's aptly titled. So Van Jones being accosted on the street by a guy who, apparently met him previously and is one of James O'Keefe's operatives. And he sets him up with this question about the Russia investigation.
Hey, man. We met in Palm Springs a few years back.
Good to see you, man. You good?
Yeah. How you been? What are you
I'm
doing? What do you think's going to happen this week? I mean, with the whole Russia thing.
The Russia thing is just a big nothing burger.
Really? You don't think that...
There's nothing there you can do.
So he says it's a big nothing burger, But then he starts to say the only thing you can do, and then he's cut off because some bearded vagrant, and they're all over D.C., most of them are members of Congress, comes up and starts talking to Van Jones, and then he's cut off.
Right.
So it doesn't do a lot for me. I wanted to hear the rest of what Van Jones had to say and providing context to his Nothing Burger comment.
I thought that was a undercover security person that went up and stopped their conversation.
Well, he said, I met you in Palm Beach.
Oh.
So I don't know. But here's the thing. That's not worthy.
It's code for get out of the situation.
The Bonifield stuff yesterday that O'Keefe put out was good. But this is where Project Veritas, I said yesterday, is kind of hit or miss. Wait till you have more to offer before you give us a second installment. Because it kind of it dilutes the first installment. This is the sum total of the second video release, by the way. Because the rest of it is just a rehash of yesterday's release on John Bonifield. And this just isn't enough for me. I mean, I'm not a fan of Van Jones. That's why I call him Obama suck toy. I think that speaks to my lack of fandom.
You think?
But that Nothing Burger, he's about to provide context. He's cut off, and that's the sum total of it. It doesn't do a lot for me.
Yeah, it didn't. I mean, I watched it too and thought, oh, okay. I just expected him to say that anyway.
But here's what's actually happening, though. Yesterday, so in the wake of the Bonifield video, and knowing that Project Veritas has more to release, and in the wake of that latest retraction by CNN, and then the charged exchange Sarah Huckabee Sanders had with the editor of the Montgomery Sentinel out of Maryland at the White House press room yesterday. Here, it's interesting, the pivot. The pivot is now not about it, because we have to pivot away from our job performance. We have to pivot away from the conversation of, are we in the tank against Trump? So now it is, Trump is making us targets of violence. That was all over the airwaves yesterday. So in terms of thinking that the D.C. press corps doesn't suffer from a bad case of groupthink, listen to a couple of examples of this. This is Atlantic editor Jeff Goldberg at the Aspen conference talking about this issue of where this is going, Trump's accusations that major D.C. media outlets are fake news and the like, where this is going.
Jeff, when the president constantly tweets that different newspapers
Katie Couric
are
asking.
examples of fake news, like the Washington Post or the New York Times, and accuses reporters of being fake news at White House briefings or when he appears before reporters there, what's your reaction?
Well, part of my reaction is that we're all engaged in a reality TV show, that this is a reality TV version of a war between a president and the press. And I mean that in one specific sense. Right now, we're all benefiting. The weird part of this is, of course, when the New York Times and the Washington Post get tweeted at this way, their subscriber base goes up, right? More people subscribe and want to support them. The problem is, and this is what I worry about more than anything else, is that there are people in the country who don't understand that this is a cynical reality TV game, and are going to hear over and over again from the president that the reporters, journalists, are enemies of the state. And someone, I mean, God forbid, but someone is going to do something violent against journalists in a large way, and then I know where the fault lies. And and we're heading in this direction, and it's quite frightening.
So journalists are targets for violence. Something's going to happen. This is the editor of The Atlantic, a leftist intellectual outlet. And I know where the Trump lies. He's clearly implicating Trump. Trump will be responsible if any journalist is a victim of violence. Now,
I remember I said that once when the reporter in South Carolina was killed.
Virginia, wasn't it?
Was it Virginia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On
air.
Live,
she was
on
doing
air.
a live shot, and somebody came up and killed her. And I said, that's because Trump hates the media so much. That's what inspired him to do it.
Yeah.
And I retracted that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so.
But there's an animosity, of course, between President Trump and the media, because that's what he likes. That puts fire in his belly. That creates conflict, and conflict is the essence of a reality TV show. If you don't have conflict, your show stinks.
Well, wait a second. That's what they like, too. You just heard Goldberg say it increases click-throughs and subscribers for the outlets that are targeted. You heard John Bonifield on the undercover O'Keefe video that we played yesterday saying it's good for business. Trump is good for business. He's good for ratings. Our ratings are through the roof, although not in the last couple of days after this retraction story has dominated the news. But the bottom line is the Trump-Russia thing, it's good for the bottom line. So it's a sort of a symbiotic relationship, one could argue. And of course, from the media's perspective, they have a mission, and it's not to report the facts; it's to take down this president.
But they feel that this president is punishing them by once again yesterday not letting video cameras roll in the White House briefing room. Jim Acosta,
they're like
your
children.
No, he said
So
Sarah
what?
Huckabee Sanders taking questions from reporters at White House briefing. Video of this has been banned by the USA.
Yeah.
And that he's stripping us of our First Amendment right, freedom of press.
What we're witnessing right now is just this erosion of our freedoms in terms of covering the President of the United States. The President has only held one full news conference since the beginning of his administration. That was in February. That's way behind the average of other presidents in modern times.
I mean,
it's like
what does that even mean? How concerned were they when Hillary Clinton went months upon months upon months during the campaign without a press conference, and she was, obviously the odds-on favorite to be the next president of the United States? Their situational ethics undermine their credibility as well as their general job performance. But I want to go back to the violence thing. Okay. Would these same people, like Jeff Goldberg, saying if violence is committed against a journalist, Trump is responsible, are they suggesting that Bernie Sanders is responsible for the Virginia baseball shooting? Are they? I mean, because that was a Bernie Sanders supporter.
Right, volunteer, yep.
Are they suggesting that the rhetoric of the left is responsible for the Virginia baseball shooting? I'm not. Are they? That's the standard they're setting forth. The president tweets, if at some point some journalist is a victim of violence, then it will be the president's fault. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. It wasn't just Goldberg. Listen to Clarissa Ward co-anchoring with Chris Cuomo in a discussion on the same topic with Chris Klizza from the Washington Post.
The debate on this thing has been completely destroyed.
Oh, no, that's Ron Johnson and Chris Cuomo. I've got so many Chris Cuomo quotes.
Where do you begin?
How about Clarissa Ward here?
Chris, I mean, at what point does this become dangerous? And I'm not just talking about dangerous in terms of tearing at the social fabric. I'm talking about dangerous as in a journalist gets hurt. Because I can tell you, working overseas in war zones, people are emboldened by the actions of this administration, emboldened by the all-out sort of declaration of war on the media. If I'm getting it in the neck, Chris, I can only imagine what someone like you is dealing with. At what point does this become reckless or irresponsible, Chris?
I mean, I don't want to say we're past that point. I will say this, Clarissa. I think it is. I think it is already dangerous what the Trump administration is doing, which is to Brian's point, they are trying to take an honest mistake, or not even a mistake, and turn it into the norm as opposed to the rule as opposed to the exception, which is a very dangerous thing because that's willfully misleading, frankly.
So here's the whole echo chamber. That's Clarissa Ward with Chris Cuomo, with Chris Klizza from the Washington Post. You heard from Jeff Goldberg at the Atlantic. This is the new narrative they're spinning in an attempt to spin out of the quality of their work discussion. So do you buy that? Are we in a dangerous place? Are journalists subject to violence? Is this a putative war zone, as Clarissa Ward analogizes? Let's go to, we got to go to Tangerine Jesus creator on this one. Tony on the South Side.
Hey, good morning, my friends.
Hi.
And Amy, keep up the Italian slurs. I love it.
Hey.
Hey. So listen, as far as the freedom of press in the Constitution and the First Amendment right, all that stuff, how does one determine what news media is or what the press is? For example, I don't consider CNN credible myself after everything I've heard. I mean, come on, seriously, right? Now, as far as myself, can I walk into the White House and say, hey, I'm Vito from the Sicilian Press, and I want to, you're violating my rights? Or how's that work, Dan? I mean, seriously, what's this whole, And it just sounds like they're a bunch of crybabies.
Thanks for the call, Tony. I mean, I think the crybabies part is right. In terms of White House press pool access, there are criteria about audited circulation for newspapers in terms of establishing legitimacy, but there are criteria set forward. Now, those criteria have expanded in the digital age to include, digital-only outlets, and that's good. So it doesn't.
Everybody's a blogger.
Well, this is not an attack on a free press or a suggestion the press be curtailed in any way. More speech, not less. That's my moniker. I borrowed it from Louis Brandeis. Frank in St. Charles.
Hey, good morning. I think one thing that Trump supporters should keep in mind is if the media didn't focus on the loudest clown in the circus, Trump wouldn't be president. He should thank them.
Thanks for the call, Frank. Well, and I guess by extension, then the media bear responsibility for amplifying Trump in the primary where they were key to his victory, as you suggest, Frank, isn't it? So a lot of blame to go around, I suppose, in this war of words. Don't you think, Frank?
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. In 2008, Barack Obama scaled Chicago's big government trafficking operation nationally. The nation got only a small taste of the damage Chicago's RICO-style governance inflicts. Illinois has not been so fortunate. The kleptocratic kingpins who run the city that works you over have relegated Illinois to the status of a cautionary tale as to how a poisonous government-centric culture turns a state into one giant Ponzi scheme. Politics pervades everything in Illinois. The result is that the nation's highest combined state and local tax burden has proven no match for the spending appetites of Pauls who've racked up $250 billion in debt while skipping out on more tabs than Leona Helmsley in her heyday. With collapse in the offing, the Sicarios for Illinois' political crime family seek a federal lifeline in the form of state bankruptcy. Congress should consider removing sovereign immunity protections to make an example of those who turned Illinois into the bad example. Of America's 50 laboratories of democracy, Illinois is the meth lab. If we want to prevent more states from getting hooked on junk governance, the Bernie Madoff treatment should be applied to those who cook the books in Illinois.
A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Go to our website, GreatParkingLots.com. Check it out, GreatParkingLots.com.
Go to GreatParkingLots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. GreatParkingLots.com.
All right, I have to admit it was an eyesore. The chipping and paint peeling on our front and back porch, it looked awful. But thanks to CertaPro painters, the porch looks brand new. The painters who showed up were professional, respectful. They were done in just a few hours. And when they left, the house looked brand new. They really are the best in the business. And it's not too late to book your exterior painting project. There are several spots open on CertaPro's summer schedule. Here's an idea. Let CertaPro painters transform your home while you're on vacation and return to a freshly painted house. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary this year, and so we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. For a free estimate, call 1-800-GO-CERTA, C-E-R-T-A, or visit CertaPro.com, that's Certa with the C. Get that painting project off your to-do list. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll continue our discussion with the alleged war on the media by the Trump administration. And former White House Press Secretary Mike McCurry, Democrat, had a proposal for your consideration, Ms. Jacobson.
Oh, about the White House briefings.
Okay, wait for it.
And later,
wait for it.
You didn't see what the proposal was. And later, how the Chicago Cubs, our beloved Cubbies, got involved in the health care debate. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 68 degrees in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Tracking a couple of developing stories in our area as a flood warning has been posted for the Kishwaukee River in Boone and Winnebago counties. And Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner making a little news this morning, ratcheting up the pressure in Springfield. Governor yesterday issuing a warning to lawmakers. If they don't pass a balanced budget by the end of the day tomorrow, he'll keep them at the State House until they do. That means over the July 4th holiday. The U.S. is boosting security this morning on international flights to this country.
They will include enhanced screening of electronic devices, more thorough passenger vetting, and new measures designed to mitigate the potential threat of insider attacks.
Speaking in Washington, D.C. yesterday, Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly. President Trump's travel ban scheduled to take effect today after the Supreme Court's decision this week to temporarily uphold parts of that ban. The ban is blocking some from 6 mostly Muslim countries and refugees from entering the country. However, foreigners with a bona fide relationship with someone in the U.S. could be exempt. The House expected to vote on 2 immigration bills today. One of the measures aims to crack down on sanctuary cities. Samsung planning to open its first U.S. appliance manufacturing plant in more than 30 years. South Korean electronics giant says 950 jobs will be generated over a 3-year period when the manufacturing finally gets underway. Office supply retailer Staples is being sold to a private equity firm for just under $7 billion. Sycamore Partners is paying $10 a share for Staples. A top advisor to Pope Francis is being charged with multiple sexual assaults in Australia. Cardinal George Pell has been charged with what Australian police are calling multiple historic sexual assault offences.
Today, Victoria Police have charged Cardinal George Pell with historical sexual assault offences.
Pell has previously denied accusations of covering up abuse committed by priests when he served as Archbishop of Melbourne. Lotto players now can buy a Powerball and soon a Mega Millions ticket in the state of Illinois. Until the state has a budget, ticket sales have been or will be suspended. Administrators at Oak Park River Forest High School are assuring parents that threatening messages received this week were not credible, even though they prompted a soft lockdown. Summer school students and summer campers were kept in their classrooms for about 90 minutes while the threatening emails were investigated. And look who turns 10 years old today. The iPhone. Sales were sluggish for the first iPhone back in 2007. Last year, Apple made over $24 billion from the iPhone and its apps. Yankees pound the White Sox 12-3. Nationals 8-4 winners over the Cubs. The news, a service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today, just $19.99 plus $3 disposal fee for tires, oil, service, and repairs. National Tire and Battery. That's all you need. 5:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher wants the GOP to rally together.
You may be the first president in history to go down because you can't stop inappropriately talking about an investigation.
Well, no, he may be the first president to go down because he can't get fellow Republicans like you to support it. I don't know why this is so hard for Republicans to muster at least the pretense of support for a president who is under siege by the American media.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Hey, would you buy a house without looking inside? Well, of course not. Shouldn't you be just as diligent when choosing a financial advisor? Hey, it's Sean Hannity here, and just as a house is more than 4 walls, well, a financial advisor is more than just a nice office. What's their background? Do they work in your best interest as a fiduciary? What's their financial specialty? You want to know all these things because the chances are over your lifetime, you're going to trust them with far more than the value of your home because knowledge and experience count for a lot in retirement income planning. Here in Chicago, you need to know Anthony and Michael Pellegrino and their team at Goldstone Financial Group. Call them now, 800-620-9697. That's 800-620-9697. Don't be cavalier with what you have spent a lifetime building. Call Goldstone Financial Group, 800-620-9697.
Investment advisory services offered through Goldstone Financial Group, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Did you know that if you have mutual funds in your IRA, 401k, or investment accounts, that according to Forbes magazine, you could be paying as much as 3.17% in hidden fees every single year? 3.17% may not sound like much, but over 10 years, it's costing you 32%, whether your fund is up or down. Hi, it's Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group in Chicago and host of the Alpha Wealth Hour on AM 560. This is just one of the reasons I hate mutual funds, and you should too. You may not know this, but you have far more investment options today without the excessive fees. Learn what they are in my free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds. What you learn may shock you. To get your free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds, call 630-519-4742. There's no obligation. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
5:36. Let's get an update on the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Downtown Chicago, traffic lights are malfunctioning at Wacker and LaSalle. We have a closure of northbound I-65 and Rensselaer, State Road 114 to State Road 14 due to an earlier crash. Southbound it is open. We see no delays on the 8-ins. Kennedy outbound heavy Canfield to Cumberland. Crash on the right shoulder. 22 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Inbound still fine at 20. About Eisenhower just a little heavy. Manheim to 25th, about a 1-minute delay. Mount Stevenson, the slowdowns start at Harlem. 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 5 to 34. Ryan, 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound 18, where roadwork is clearing between 87th and 95th. I-57, 25 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop 422. Traffic is a service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today, just $19.99 plus $3 disposal fee. For tires, oil, service, and repairs, National Tire and Battery, that's all you need. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Variable clouds, breezy, warm, more humid with a shower or thunderstorm and a high of 84. Currently 71 at O'Hare, 65 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the greatest financial crime in history. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Taking your calls, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. The question is, has Trump made journalists targets for violence? And if violence should occur against a journalist, which certainly don't advocate any way, no matter how bad the journalist is, don't advocate violence against anybody for their beliefs.
Thank goodness you cleared that up.
Well, I mean, just because, the accusations are so cheap these days. So we'll go on the record here on the obvious, should be obvious, but maybe not in these times. But should something like that happen, would Trump be responsible? Taking your calls on that, because that's essentially what you heard yesterday across channel. This is the pivot of the D.C. press corps away from having to defend CNN if you're a member of CNN, or to even try and defend the job performance of the D.C. press corps generally, because CNN is hardly the only Beltway outlet that has gotten it wrong repeatedly and recklessly. Oh, by the way, related story, New York Times.
And purposefully.
Well, arguably.
Yeah.
Right, that's arguably. Was it purposeful? New York Times, a bunch of editors are being laid off, are decrying the termination process as humiliating. The sensitive, compassionate New York Times are humiliating these editors they're laying off. They're laying off editors, that layer of editorial oversight, right, to staff up reporters to churn news more quickly. So one layer of fact-checking being thinned out by the New York Times.
That's scary stuff.
It should be interesting to see how that turns out. So we heard from Jeff Goldberg at The Atlantic, who suggested what I'm suggesting. We heard from Clarissa Ward over at CNN. How about staying at CNN? Wolf Blitzer. That's him.
Wow, that was really bad.
With Jeff Mason. By the way, you know what? We need to reprise that the girl who was raised by Wolf Blitzer.
Oh, that's
Remember
right.
that was
yeah, Wolf Justin's all over
so
that.
good.
We'll find it.
Wolf Blitzer interviewing Jeff Mason, who is the president of the White House Correspondents Association. Listen to this exchange.
Have you raised the concern that all of us in the news media have about the president calling all of us enemies of the American people? Because that is a very, very harsh statement and potentially very dangerous.
Well, that type of rhetoric is something that we have spoken out about since he first said that, and many of you probably were at or watched the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and I addressed that then as well. That is rhetoric that we reject, and it's just not something that I think is helpful to the public discourse, and it's not, again, it's just not something that's true.
I mean, are reporters as hated as attorneys right now? Because I feel like it's leaning that way.
Probably the trust question. I assume their numbers are similar. But as to the question of moral indignation, let's hear from an actual investigative reporter, award-winning investigative reporter who's not part of the orthodoxy and thus was banished to Sinclair, where she hosts a show, Cheryl Atkinson. She got a new book out called The Smear. We're after to get her on our show, talk about it as well. She was on Fox News yesterday. She said this about the kind of moral indignation you're hearing from the Beltway elites in the media.
I think that in general, the journalists who have decided to take a stand against this president and have announced in some instances that they're suspending the normal rules and procedures of journalism because they think this president is such a threat, in many instances, they really believe that. They are committed, in some cases partisans, but just committed people who think they're doing the right thing. So I think you're going to get that sort of feeling from them. They're also being cheered on by the people around them, almost like a feeding frenzy with sharks. The people surrounding them are patting them on the back and saying, good job.
And that's how you get your echo chamber. Let's take a couple calls. Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, you know what, Dan? This is the first time I'm so furious because with the media, because every cop, and I'm saying every cop that has been shot in the last 4 or 5 years, you can put that on the hands of the media with their misrepresentation and all of the other crap that they put. So you talk about blood on the hands. You look at all these police officers, and then you look at what the police officers have to go through. And then you know what? The police officers aren't doing their jobs anymore. They're pretending they are. But you know what? The public is now in danger. And you can put that all on the hands of the media.
No,
so I have no respect for the media, and anything that happens to them could happen to them. Go ahead, Amy. I'm sorry.
No, Ed, I do not believe that the media is responsible for police shootings.
I certainly do. And if you go talk to any police officer, they'll tell you the same thing. When these people get enraged from false reports from the media and they start ambushing police officers, why do you think they're doing that? Because they just happen to feel that way that morning? It's built up rage from listening to the false reports from the news media. They never tell you what these cops are doing, the good things. Go talk to a cop. Go talk to your Carlos at his Dunkin' Donuts when the police come in there. He'll probably tell you the same thing.
Thanks for the call, Ed.
And in the Michael Brown case, I agree with him because they solidified this image of Michael Brown. I mean, my kids even thought, was he a professional athlete? What is this hype around Michael Brown? That was completely blown out of proportion. And they rushed to his side, to Michael Brown's side.
So here's the thing. I don't I don't want to curtail free speech. So, free speech is not action. That was even the Michael Brown coverage, as absurd as it was not an incitement to riot. So it doesn't extend beyond the parameters of our free speech rights. But here's the thing. If you're going to say, as the editor of The Atlantic said, Jeff Goldberg, that if violence is committed against a journalist, it's Trump's fault. If you're going to say that, then it necessarily means, these are analogous case studies, that the coverage of Black Lives Matter, extolling the virtues of Black Lives Matter, the hyperbolic coverage of Michael Brown you mentioned, well, that's responsible for violence against police officers. And the Virginia shooter The responsibility for that shooting, at least in part, is Bernie Sanders and the bellicose rhetoric of the left that led him to take the law into his own hands and affect justice, from his perspective. So that's why I say this is how irresponsible and self-regarding the D.C. Beltway media types are. Anything negative directed at them is verboten.
Well, they take it personally.
Right. But their coverage of everybody else, even understanding the influence the media has, that they all concede, is to be just accepted as part of the national discourse, part of our political process. So they want it both ways, and this is why they undermine that credibility. They have one standard for themselves, and they have another standard for everybody else, and this is the same thing why there's a revolt against the political class. It's the same thing. The rules don't apply to us. Well, actually, they do, and so do the restraints. Craig in Mount Greenwood.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. This whole disgust and rejection of the media didn't just begin with Trump and everything. This began with myself and many others, those of us who are not liberals, who are just, regular guy, middle-class people out here and everything like that, with all the shenanigans that the media was pulling when Obama was in there, in the cover-ups with even like stuff going back Fast and Furious and Benghazi and all the stuff with Hillary Clinton, just on and on. There was so much stuff. We were basically, myself and others, were basically canceling out any newspapers. We didn't want any of our money going to support the media. We've been against this media for years, and they've only gotten worse. They've gotten so much worse. They need to be done away with. It's beyond even a state run. It isn't even a state run. They run themselves. This is individuals with their own ideologies, their own, will to basically have it their way, which is really hard left, and basically people with a lot of money using the media to accomplish it. It's worse than state-run media. They need to be disbanded.
Well, I mean,
state-run media, we'd live in a communist country.
You mean disbanded by the state? I mean, or disbanded by people making
what
choice?
What I mean is broken up. I'm probably using the wrong word.
That's not going to happen.
There needs to be something done so that they can't have this monopoly on lying to the public. There's got to be something. They got to be broke up somehow, or there's got to be some control put on them because they got free. They're taking advantage of the American freedom that I love. I don't want nothing to happen to our American freedom. But this news media and the way they operate, it's destructive to our freedom.
All right, thanks for the call, Craig. Appreciate it. I mean, here's the thing that's actually happening, and the digital age is accelerating it.
You don't even have to watch.
A lot of outlets.
There's
a lot of outlets. Competition, the free marketplace addresses this because of the groupthink of the D.C. Press Corps and its previous incarnations. It created market opportunities for all of the outlets that come from very different perspectives, that cover news from very different angles, and more, always more. And let's see who produces the product that people want to read the most. And if that's the National Enquirer, then that says something about the culture. And if it's think journals and other outlets that have textured analyses and innovative news stories, then that says something about the culture too. Michael in Lake Forest.
Thanks for taking the call. The media, though, is very good at pulling out cards and using them as manipulation. So you have the race card now today, as many of the callers I listened to on hold said, the onus of violence card. I mean, they generate, they pull out of their trick bag another manipulative scheme. It's very clever. And they want to get on top of it. And now the allegation in anticipation that if something happens to a media person, it's on Trump. I mean, you can almost, not quite, draw a line from the guy in Illinois who went to the Republican baseball practice and say the media played a role in that, but they're they'll tell you their hands are clean. But,
right.
Well, that man had
Thanks
hate.
for the call,
he
Mike.
had hate in his heart for Trump, and I don't think the media. I mean, maybe he watched TV or read newspapers, like most Americans do.
Well, the media amplify the most extreme rhetoric of the left. I mean, isn't this the argument that the left makes against the right? I don't buy the argument, but I want consistency. I want a standard. Here's the thing, too, but just on that related story, the Virginia baseball shooter.
Yeah.
Why won't Dick Durbin release the emails that his office receives from that Virginia baseball shooter?
Hodgkinson? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Why not?
The other Republican congressman in his district,
To-
he released the emails
to
that he had sent his congressional office.
To the credit of the Belleville News Democrat media outlet, the newspaper of record where the shooter lived, they republished all of his letters to the editor. Why don't you call Dick Durbin's office and ask him why he won't release those emails that his office received from the shooter? Dan in Plainfield, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Pleasure, folks. First-time caller.
Oh, great.
I just want to remind the listeners this is nothing new. From the way back from the Spanish-American Wars, First World War, Second World War, atrocities being made up to incite to get into war, civil war.
The era of yellow journalism, yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You were around then, Dan.
Yes.
And it is.
An infant, but yes.
Cub
today's,
reporter.
Media, communist, no doubt about it. Pro-leftist, inciting violence against President Trump. I don't know. Cry me a bucket of a river of water, but they have no problems of Trump being assassinated, maligned.
Yeah, right. Yeah, thanks for the
Well,
call,
and
Dan.
the left will say that Trump did this because at his rallies he would say, "Oh, get him out of here! I'll pay for the legal fee."
But to Dan's point, Trump being assassinated on stage in an adaptation of Julius Caesar at the New York Public Theater, no problem.
Or you can hold a bloody head of President Trump.
Right.
Oh yeah. What's wrong with that?
Jim in Naperville.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Exactly what qualifies a journalist or a media outlet to be a member of the D.C. press corps? I mean, what gives them access to the president, to the White House or whatnot? And what, more importantly, what excludes others from being participants in that process?
Thanks for the
call,
call,
you have
Jim.
to file for a press pass, and it's a long process. Then you get vetted, and each organization has one reporter on the floor. Then they decide where they're going to sit, and it's a big deal. But, but they gave, Katie Pavlich from townhall.com, they gave her a press pass.
Breitbart. Well, here's the thing. It used to be, to answer your question, Jim, that you had to just rinse and repeat whatever was in the New York Times so that everybody was singing from the same hymnal. And that's changed under Trump, and they don't like it. Randy in Aurora, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I'm going to pick up where that last caller was going with the different world wars and the Civil War in particular, because I had the ability throughout my scholastic career to study the Civil War. In particular, the part that I went to was the beginning years that led up to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to try to draw some parallel lines that are going to show between what happened then and what's happening now. And I'm going to begin with a quote. Those that don't know history are doomed to repeat it, and I will also end with this quote. The pen is mightier than the sword. What has happened back then is you had different news outlets that really poured gas all over the place. And eventually when there was a spark, the fire started burning to where it led to where there was families versus families in that Civil War. If you look at what's going on right now, you have news media outlets that are dumping gas all over the place, and Trump is going to be the spark. Now, who really started the fire? Because we both know there's ownership.
Oh, Randy, sorry, you cut out. The Civil War analogy, I mean, there's this underlying issue called slavery. So what's the underlying issue that people are willing to go to war, literally go to war with in this country? I don't necessarily see one at this point. We'll have to pick up this next hour.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Americans have the right and advantage of being armed, unlike the citizens of other countries whose governments are afraid to trust the people with arms. James Madison, Federalist Papers. Our founders recognized that the common individual needs to be trusted, but with trust, there must be common sense and personal responsibility. This is especially true of handguns. If you've been thinking of making a purchase, visit the Range at 355. The Range at 355 is so much more than a state-of-the-art shooting range. It is a fully stocked showroom carrying a variety of firearms with brands like Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, HKs, and Glock. The Range at 355 offers Illinois concealed carry license training and a full curriculum of classes designed to teach you what you need to know to be a responsible gun owner and concealed carrier. Their professional team will train you like a pro. Founded by patriots like you, providing professional guidance and courteous instruction. Trust your skills to the pros at the Range at 355. For range hours and class info, visit range355.com. Range355.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I've been on vitamins, I've been on all kinds of supplements, but nothing has come close to your product. The difference between before I started the product and afterwards is like night and day. I do have more energy, and that was what I really was after. I get all these benefits. It's wonderful. I had no energy at all, and I thought, how can I live this way? I do one little chore, and then I have to sit and rest. And I find that I get through the day pretty well, and I really have more energy. I look in the mirror and I say, I think I feel more alive. I think I look more alive.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
5:57. Let's get an update on the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Kennedy traffic is slow from the River Road toll to Cumberland at Austin to Central. 22 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 21 with a crash at Cumberland on the right shoulder. The Edens is fine. Eisenhower. Inbound delays start at Wolf. 33 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 5 at 29. On Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 34. Ryan is 22 minutes, 90-50 to downtown. I-57, 23 minutes, I-80 to the Verge. Issue 420. Tollways are good. Northbound I-65 is closed. State Road 114 at Rensselaer, State Road 14. There's a crash there. Traffic service of Lowe's. Pro customers at Lowe's save 5% on every purchase every day when you use your Lowe's Business Credit Account. That's 5% on all purchases in-store or online. Subject to credit approval, U.S. only. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center and our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today breezy and warm with intervals of clouds and sunshine, along with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm late in the afternoon with a high getting up to 86. Showers and a thunderstorm tonight, low 68. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
71 at O'Hare, 65 along Chicago's lakefront. The news, a service of Office Depot Office Max. While you're taking care of business, Office Depot and Office Max are taking care of you with all Work Pro chairs and Magellan furniture on sale, like 60% off a Magellan corner desk, now $96. Hurry, offer ends 7/4. 5:59 in Chicago. Here are the stories we are following. In the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom, Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. The National Weather Service issues a flood warning for the Kishwaukee River this morning in Boone and Winnebago counties after overnight heavy rain. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner ratcheting up the pressure in Springfield, issuing a warning to lawmakers. No balanced budget by the end of the day tomorrow. They'll be trapped at the State House until they get one. Lotto players can no longer buy a Powerball in the state, and soon Mega Millions tickets will be halted until the state has a budget. The public now allowed to speak for 3 minutes at Chicago City Council meetings. Federal grand jury in northern Indiana brings charges against 20 in Gary for possessing and selling crack cocaine. Yankees over the White Sox, Nationals over the Cubs, and a cloudy start to your morning. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
What had been blocked in court for months will block some travelers to the U.S. starting today. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump's travel ban goes into effect in 13 hours. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the president's executive order restricts travel for 90 days from 6 predominantly Muslim nations deemed terror threats and bans refugees for 120 days. There is an exception for those who can show a bona fide relationship with a U.S. citizen or entity. What's a bona fide relationship? The Trump administration defines that as parents, spouses, children, siblings, and sons and daughters-in-law. Who's not covered? Grandparents, grandchildren, aunts, uncles, and fiancés. Students, journalists, and other workers with employment contracts will be exempt from the ban. Dave.
Rachel, the U.S. is also tightening security on international flights coming here.
The new security measures include stricter passenger vetting, also explosives detection, including more bomb-sniffing dogs, and rooting out insider threats to airlines. It affects every flight, every airline coming into the U.S.
That's Fox's Marianne Rafferty. President Trump will meet with South Korea's new president at the White House today, no doubt discussing the North Korean nuclear threat. Last night, the president raised an estimated $10 million at the first fundraiser for his 2020 re-election bid at his hotel in Washington. A high-ranking Roman Catholic cardinal who serves as one of the Pope's financial advisors has been charged with sexual abuse in Australia, but Cardinal George Pell is fighting back.
I'm innocent of these charges. They are false.
The accusations date back decades. A Major League Baseball umpire is being hailed a hero for what John Tumpane did before the Pirates game in Pittsburgh yesterday. He noticed a woman climbing over a railing on a bridge near the ballpark. He helped to try to talk her down, and then he and another man grabbed her and held on.
I'm glad to say that, she can have another day with us, and glad I was in the right place at the right time.
This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
According to the forecast, it's going to be a long, hot summer. Russian collusion. James Comey.
Obstruction of justice. Impeachment. White House leak. Jeff Sessions. Climate change. Islamic terrorism. Vladimir Putin.
Join AM 560's Joe Walsh for a very special event on Tuesday, August 22nd. It's the Summer of Trump, live at the Bolingbrook Golf Club, hosted by Joe Walsh and featuring Hugh Hewitt and Guy Benson. Tickets are available now at 560theanswer.com/summer. That's 560theanswer.com/summer.
With Quicken Loans, our simple process helps you understand all the details so you can be confident that you're getting the right mortgage. Call 800-QUICKEN or go completely online with Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.23%. Call 800-QUICKEN or get started online at rocketmortgage.com. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Summer involves a lot of driving. To camp, to work, to soccer, back home to grab what they forgot, and then back to soccer again. So wouldn't you like to know your car is up for it? Enter Hum by Verizon. Now you can check your car's health from your phone with vehicle diagnostics. Drive with more peace of mind thanks to 24/7 emergency assistance. And let the kids stream and game on the go with your car's own Wi-Fi hotspot. Get Hum and get where you're going. Learn more at hum.com. Verizon Wi-Fi available on HumX only. Data usage applies. Coverage not available everywhere. Visit vzw.com for availability.
Tasty Catering is bringing outdoor happiness to you and your coworkers this picnic season.
Down-home barbecue, street tacos, sausages and sandwiches, steaks, chops, fish, Greek feasts, pig roasts. The list goes on.
Tasty Catering picnic foods are more deliciously sophisticated than ever. With so many great options, everyone will be happy.
Organic, gluten-free, vegetarian, vegan, and dairy-free options never tasted so picnicky.
And your picnic doesn't stop with amazing freshly grilled food. Entertainment, rentals, decor, venue selection. Get everything you need with one single call to Tasty Catering.
Inflatables and crafts for the kids, games and athletics for the teenagers, beverage packages and entertainment options for the adults. There's so much to choose from.
The best company picnics start at tastycatering.com. View picnic menus, entertainment options, picnic spots, and more. Visit tastycatering.com. tastycatering.com.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
This hourly segment is powered by CharlesEquipment.com. Weathering every storm and keeping the lights on.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Picking up on our conversation on media coverage and the antagonism between the White House and the media, the D.C. press corps in particular. And by the way, isn't that a healthy thing? You're supposed to have an adversarial relationship, right? Because the media is supposed to act as a check on power.
But they're not used to that because of President Obama. They loved him. And I will never, ever forget, and it always bears repeating. I was in the media pit when he won the office of the presidency.
Oh, the waterworks.
People were crying. Not all the African-American journalists, Hispanic journalists, white journalists, men, women. Everybody was crying, bawling.
What about
this is we've done this. We have elected African-American president. We are watching history. And we were watching history but is that the reason why you vote for somebody?
Right.
To be part of history, to be part of the movement?
Well, that's what it was. But now you also have a story about the newsroom when you were at NBC5 and producers and reporters discussing coverage of Obamacare.
Oh, yeah. And one of the reporters didn't want to do an anti-Obamacare story. She said, well, there is nobody that doesn't like Obamacare.
Against it.
Nobody's against it.
Everybody's for it. Everybody I know is for it. Therefore, everybody's for it. Therefore, we don't have to hear an opposing viewpoint.
And they also went after, I can say, Nisita Kwan, too. She was the health reporter at the time, and she didn't do an anti-Obamacare story. She's like, well, everybody's for it. This is a great thing.
Yeah.
This is what we've been waiting for.
Of course.
This is what Hillary Clinton wanted to do.
And that's what reporters are supposed to do. Make an editorial determination on the public sentiment on a particular public policy. Oh, wait, no, that's not. That's not. And so this is where the credibility is destroyed. I mean, just building on that point, you had Katie Tur.
Oh, I like Katie Tur.
Oh, sure. MSNBC's Golden Girl. Listen to her. This was after.
She's Oberwhite, or what's his name? Keith Olbermann. That's his girlfriend.
I bet it is.
That's how she got the job.
I can understand. She's not. She at least doesn't present the level of lunacy as does Olbermann does, but she presents the same point of view. This is admittedly is after a story they reported about Trump faking Time magazine covers.
Oh yeah, apparently
which is bizarre.
Well, but he did do it. I mean,
I know it's
not he, or he ordered somebody to do it, or somebody thought, hey, this will be a good idea. We'll put him on the cover of Time, and then make a placard out of it and put it up at his golf courses. But that he was never on that issue. He was never on the cover of that day.
When I say that's bizarre, it's a bizarre thing for Trump to do.
Okay.
That is just like silly self-aggrandizement, and it's just
Trump, though.
It's indefensible. But you're right. That is Trump.
That's fake news.
That's not fake news. Well,
okay.
The Time cover is fake news. Right.
Yeah.
True.
Photoshopping yourself in a cover of Time magazine.
Okay. Yeah, that's like egomaniacal to.
He's like Dr. Evil.
It is. It's egomaniacal to a degree of parody. That's how egomaniacal it is. But here's Katie Tur saying what MSNBC is after reporting that story.
Because we are not fake news and value all sides of every story, we must note that NBC News has reached out to the Trump Organization for comment. So far, we have not heard back.
Sure. They value all sides of the story, so a story that is obviously paints Trump in a weird light, bizarre light, they're going to reach out for comment. But all the other stories on tax reform, on his tax returns, Rachel Maddow's big nothing burger on his tax returns, on health care policy, on immigration, the executive order, then they're just obviously prosecuting the Democrat Party's case. So the whole kind of, we respect, we're interested in all sides of the story. No, you're not. No, you're not.
They reached out to him. That's what you do. You get both sides. They
in
reached
this
out to him.
instance. In this
always reach out
instance,
to him. Every day they try.
Yeah, right. But here's part of the reason, and I say this all the time: the media has destroyed its credibility because they pretend that they are superhumans who have no personal opinions. They're just objective scriveners of the passing scene. No one is objective. Everyone has a point of view. And it subconsciously, even if you're not trying to prosecute your point of view, it still subconsciously influences how you view a story, the angle at which you're going to take to report it, maybe even who you're going to get to comment from one side or the other or another side.
But keep in mind,
there's nothing wrong with
keep
that.
in mind these people, these journalists, especially in the White House briefing room, they've been coddled by the Obama administration for 8 years. So this is new territory for them.
That's
where
true.
They don't get what they want. Now there's even talk of, no longer having the White House press briefings be live, that they're mandated to tape them and then release it, when some set time, whether it be 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, that's true about the coddling and also that protocol. But here's the thing and the proposal. It's okay. Stop pretending you are someone you're not, and you would enhance your credibility. I come from the left. It would be what DC Press Corps, most of the DC Press Corps would have to disclose. This is, of course, MSNBC is from the left. I mean, this is not even an argument. Of course, CNN is largely from the left. It's manifest. Stop telling people to not believe what their eyes see and their ears hear. Just own it, and then people can make up their own minds. Just like Fox leans right.
They're Republican.
Own it, and people can make up their own minds. Sean Hannity doesn't pretend to not be left. I mean, not be right, but so many on MSNBC pretend. Brian Williams with a hand wringing like he's not a card carrying member of the left press corps. Give me a break. I mean, he's just lying again, and I understand that's what he does, but it doesn't enhance his credibility any. So to this proposal that you mentioned, this comes from Mike McCurry, former Clinton press secretary,
right, and Ari Fleischer too.
And you know what McCurry did after the Clinton administration, after his years in the White House?
Yeah.
As penance for all his sins, he became a seminarian.
Really?
He's like a lay delegate for the Methodist Church.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, how about that?
He found God.
So their idea is, all this caterwauling about not videoing press conference, the White House press briefing, suggesting what?
Well, they say they want to support they want no live TV coverage, and they want to embargo it until a set time. And I don't know why. I mean, that's the thing. I need a strong argument of why airing these live is such a bad idea. For me, it's my daytime soap opera.
Well,
that's appointment television. When I hear there's a White House briefing, they're going to let the cameras roll, I tune in. Because what they've been doing is they've been letting reporters call in or Skype in from all over the country.
Yeah, right.
I had no idea Montana people were fearful of Muslims crossing over the Canadian border. And they were talking about a wall between Montana and Canada. That was the concerns from the reporter. And actually, the D.C. press corps laughed at that. And I thought, hey, that's kind of rude.
But the point is that this would require journalists to do their job. Like they'd actually have to extract the valuable part of the briefing rather than just say, it's appointment television. Here it is.
Mm-hmm.
And unfiltered, if you want it unfiltered, you go to C-SPAN.
Right. They say, I'm sorry, too much of the briefing today is a game of gotcha.
Yeah.
And what did the president do wrong? And a better model would be to focus on the facts and the substance. But they'd still have fiery interactions. I mean, it's Sean Spicer.
I'm not sure. I understand the delaying an idea and make journalists extract value and actually construct stories rather than just flip the switch and see, who yells at who, and that's the story.
Right, because that's what's been going on with this reporter from the Maryland newspaper.
Yeah, the Montgomery Sentinel with Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Right.
Yeah, the other day. That's right. Been all the talk, and of course, if that's all the talk, then the kind of the underlying issues, even the underlying issue at Barr, which was CNN's erroneous reporting, is lost in just the back and forth between those two principles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
then next thing you know, his character's on Saturday Night Live.
Well, I'll tell you, I think Cheryl Atkinson is a great investigative reporter. She's now at Sinclair. She used to be at CBS News. She's got a new book out called what's it called?
Oh, you just said it too.
I just blinked
come
on
on.
it. The shame? No, the
scam.
I'll find it.
Here,
but Cheryl Atkinson, I think, has some good advice. She sat down for an interview on Fox News yesterday, talking about, essentially, believe your instincts, and whether it takes more time or not, you got to do a bit of your own fact checking.
I think if you listen to the players I interviewed in this book who operate in that smear universe, they themselves will tell you. I mean, this is kind of scary when you think about it. Virtually every image you run across, whether it's in the news or on social media or elsewhere, even on comedy shows, is being put there, they say, for a purpose by somebody who wants you to think something that may not necessarily be a consensus at all or may not even be true. And there are well-funded actors that use fake accounts on social media or powers of persuasion and a ton of money to try to manipulate what you think. So when you see these common narratives circulating on news outlet after news outlet and social media that everybody thinks this or that, and you're thinking, really, because I don't think that. Trust your cognitive dissonance. I think that, try to be aware that you're being manipulated, or at least someone may be trying.
I think the trust your cognitive dissonance, I think, is really good advice. Because what you see happening in the press corps, D.C. press corps, and this is why they get out over their skis, like CNN has done a couple times, but the other outlets have too. WAPO has written erroneous stories. New York Times has had to make retractions, and now they face a libel suit from Sarah Palin. But Michael Goodwin in the New York Post has a good line about this in his piece, "The Media Will Do Anything to Bash Trump." There is a difference between animus and professional skepticism. The press corps should be professionally skeptical of institutions and those powerful in charge of institutions in a free society. They absolutely should. They should not be cheerleaders for any president the way, as you pointed out, they were for Obama. But there's a difference between professional skepticism, challenging people to prove up what they're contending, and animus, where I'm out to get you at all costs. And it seems to me that wide swaths of the D.C. press corps have crossed that divide. And I think that's what people are reacting to generally. Lewis in Dayton, Texas, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, guys. How you doing this morning?
Morning.
My comment is the reason for all the stuff you guys are saying is because it's not news anymore. It's not media. It's entertainment. I was in the Marine Corps, and when we were over there, a lot of the stuff that you guys saw back here was half-truths, and you saw part of the stories. And like you said, that's so that they can manipulate the general public into believing whatever they want to show them. There's a lot of people who ask me questions, and they are shocked by some of my answers and shocked by what I tell them. They're like, well, we didn't see that. We didn't know that. It doesn't surprise me because they're trying to hide a lot of that. The other thing is, that's what sells. Violence and this kind of entertainment of what it's become is they're looking for things that sell. You don't hear about the black man that shot the other black officer and killed him. You don't hear about that, but you hear about the white officer who restrained or who may have pointed a gun at a black individual. That the racism of that is what's selling in the media. So they're going to continue to pounce on that. And now they're sharing that with Trump as well. His outbursts and some of the things he says, it comes off a little kooky, but it sells. And people hate him more for it. People hate the police more for it, so that's what's selling. And I don't think the media is targeted. I think actually they're getting what they have sown for so long. People are starting to see what they're doing, and now people are starting to call them out on it, and they're offended by it, and they're hurt by it.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Lewis. And they have a different standard for themselves than they apply to others, which just adds texture to their hypocrisy. I think that the one thing, just in terms of what Lewis was saying about the military, what he was actually seeing versus what was being, when he was deployed versus what was being reported here. I mean, Jim Comey, the newly sainted Jim Comey, according to the left, he said the same thing during his testimony, that the news media would get stories wrong all the time. It wasn't my job, and I couldn't fact check them because I was just a leaker, leaking stuff to them.
Right, exactly. I had to give something to my former professor.
I didn't want to offend the New York Times because I wanted to leak some stuff to them.
I leaked something to them, and they got it wrong.
But,
how does that happen?
Well, but I mean, Comey did say on other stories related to the myriad investigations,
and the Russian collusion,
they got it wrong. They got it wrong. And they seem...
Attribution, folks.
They seem rather defensive about their errors, whether they're, errors of omission or commission, whether they're intended or accidental. Just own your errors and attempt to exercise professional skepticism and not give in to personal animus, even if you don't particularly like somebody. That's not being a professional journalist. And I think that's what Cheryl Atkinson is speaking to as well. By the way, the title of her book.
The Smear.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up next, how the Chicago Cubs got involved in the Senate healthcare controversy and what was wrong with Chris Bryant. We'll explain. But first, here's your forecast. Variable clouds, breezy, warm, humid today with a shower or thunderstorm, mainly in the south suburbs, a high of 84 degrees. Tonight, a few thunderstorms.
We call it the Southland.
Oh, okay. Oh, thanks. Then some rain and a low of 68. And for Friday, well, it's going to be breezy. We're going to have rain and a thunderstorm in the morning, then a thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon, a high of 81 degrees. Let's get into our alarm detection systems traffic center. Good morning, Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. And in the Southland, or Southtown, you've got an Olympia Fields traffic building around Olympia Fields Country Club. The women's PGA gets started this morning. Round one set to begin around 7:30. So you have traffic building in that area around Western Avenue and Vollmer Road. We may have a closure, actually, of Vollmer at some points between Western and Kedzie. If you plan to head down today or anytime this weekend, Metro Electric line trains stop right at Olympia Fields. Right down the Edens Expressway, it's a little heavy approaching the junction. 20 minutes like Cook to Montrose, up on 19. Kennedy, 27 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, up on 22. The Eisenhower's 42 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, up on 32. Stevenson, 46 minutes, 3:55 to the drive, up on 5 to 34. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Fort, 17. Jim Talamonte and the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey, Amy, since Jim Talamonte mentioned the women's PGA, the LPGA PGA, that's at Olympia Field starting today. We got a female sports challenge from Amby Davis's bowling ball for you. Can Amy name a foursome of chick golfers teeing off at the LPGA event? Remember, Dinah Shore is retired. We'll give you through the break to name four. Annika Sorenstam? No. Nope.
Thanks.
We'll give you some time, Obama.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Hey, your kids won't be thinking about school or studying very much this summer, but it is the perfect time for you to think about where you'll be sending your child back to school this fall. And more parents are thinking about private school, and maybe that's you. Well, if that's the case, we want to tell you about halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you can find a tuition voucher for a full year at half the price. There's no catch. There's schools in Mount Prospect, Bensonville, Elgin, Chicago, Antioch, just to name a few. But don't delay. Summer won't last forever, and school will be starting again before you know it. Visit halfpriceschools.com. That's halfpriceschools.com.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by upstream-ideas.com. In 2008, Barack Obama scaled Chicago's big government trafficking operation nationally. The nation got only a small taste of the damage Chicago's RICO-style governance inflicts. Illinois has not been so fortunate. The kleptocratic kingpins who run the city that works you over have relegated Illinois to the status of a cautionary tale as to how a poisonous government-centric culture turns the state into one giant Ponzi scheme. Politics pervades everything in Illinois. The result is that the nation's highest combined state and local tax burden has proven no match for the spending appetites of Pauls, who've racked up $250 billion in debt while skipping out on more tabs than Leona Helmsley in her heyday. With collapse in the offing, the Sicarios for Illinois' political crime family seek a federal lifeline in the form of state bankruptcy. Congress should consider removing sovereign immunity protections to make an example of those who turned Illinois into the bad example. Of America's 50 laboratories of democracy, Illinois is the meth lab. If we want to prevent more states from getting hooked on junk governance, the Bernie Madoff treatment should be applied to those who cook the books in Illinois.
I'm Trina Webster.
And I'm Dan Webster, founders of Z Quiet. Let me be honest, I snored.
Yeah, he did. Crazy loud.
And I was forced to sleep on the couch most nights.
Dan tried everything, including surgery, to solve his snoring problem.
Nothing worked.
So he turned to experts and created a solution that's a total game changer, a mouthpiece called Z Quiet.
Not just any mouthpiece, one that gently opens the airway where the snoring happens. In fact, it's based on the same technology as treatments costing thousands of dollars.
It allows natural jaw movement so you can talk, breathe normally, and best of all, sleep comfortably without making a sound.
And what's really cool is that it couldn't be easier. Just pop it in before you go to sleep to kick snoring out of bed.
So you can sleep quiet
with Z-Quiet.
Z-Quiet fits both men and women. Try it risk-free for 30 days for just $9.95. Go to getzquiet.com or text SNORE to 91011. Go to getzquiet.com or text SNORE to 91011.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text while driving.
Did you know your organization's logo can do far more than you think?
Your logo carried my clothes to the gym.
Your logo kept my coffee warm all morning. Your logo charged my phone last night.
When the highly trained team at 4imprint put your logo on things people actually use, you'll be amazed at how powerful your logo can be. Not only will we unleash the full power of your logo, we'll show you the top 3 promotional items for driving new customers absolutely free. Text TEAM to 642-642 now. Every time your customers enjoy one of our promotional items with your logo, they'll think of you. Plus, with free art assistance, we'll make every item look fantastic for a great price. Satisfaction guaranteed.
Your logo keeps my laptop safe.
Your logo keeps me dry. Attract new customers, reward employees, and make a lasting impression. Discover the top 3 promotional items for free. Text TEAM to 642-642. That's TEAM to 642-642.
Do you know that the time your children spend in school for 1 year is as much time as they will spend in church in over 5 years? Why would we want our children to be in a school that denies God and His truth? Christian Liberty Academy was founded in 1968 to provide a place that would affirm and strengthen what our children learn at home and in their churches. We have a great location in Arlington Heights, outstanding faculty and facilities, a strong biblical worldview emphasis, and an affordable tuition price compared to similar schools. We provide a comprehensive and accredited curriculum that will prepare your child for college and beyond. From preschool all the way through 12th grade, discover the positive difference that Christian Liberty Academy can make in their education and life. Schedule a personal tour today and get more information at ChristianLibertyAcademy.com or call 847-385-2013.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so we are entering a golden era for men. It may not seem that way all the time, Amy, but you've got the Japanese that are perfecting fembots, these female robot girlfriends.
Yeah,
you got movies that like Her with Joaquin Phoenix, that are foreshadowing the ability to date your operating system, your phone's operating system.
Oh my God, please. And people are marrying themselves.
The people you can marry yourself. Now this. Yeah. Pizza making robots can have pizza to your door in 4 minutes.
Ooh, nice.
California country called Zoom Pizza fully automates the process of making fresh, made-to-order pizza. It's pizza. The robotic pizza dough press is in the pizza truck, so it is making your pizza robotically on the way to your home. 4 minutes, fresh pizza that will be picked up at the door by your Japanese robot girlfriend.
And they wonder why there's an obesity problem.
Very soon.
There you go, obesity problem.
Very soon, you will never have to leave the house and it will be Dr. Pangloss's Best of All Possible Worlds.
Oh, that's great. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, which Cubs are Republicans?
Chris Bryant had a big smile on his face.
The whole time. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
And now KB has a sprained ankle, and he's out for a couple of games.
He was off of his Trump high. He wasn't focusing.
He stepped on a base. 70 degrees in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom, Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. There is a flood warning up this morning because of those heavy overnight rains on the Kishwaukee River in Boone and Winnebago County. We're hearing this morning reports of some major low-lying flooding along the Fox River this morning as well. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner ratcheting up pressure in Springfield. The governor issuing a warning to lawmakers. If there is no balanced budget on his desk, by the end of the day tomorrow, he will keep lawmakers at the State House until they enact one. President Trump is meeting with the new president of South Korea today. Meantime, the president's travel ban will go into effect. It blocks certain people from 6 mostly Muslim countries from entering the country. Senate Republicans are trying to find a way to get that health care bill passed. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says a vote on the Health Insurance Reform Act is being delayed until after the 4th of July, but Vice President Mike Pence yesterday promised Obamacare will be finished soon.
President Trump's going to work with this Congress, and we're going to keep a promise to the American people, and we're going to repeal and replace Obamacare.
Several Senate Republicans are either opposed to the bill or undecided. Democrats are united against. 2 women are dead following a shooting on Chicago's South Side. Police say the victims were traveling in a vehicle last night when someone in another car shot them near 53rd and Wabash. A federal grand jury in northern Indiana brings charges against 20 from Gary, Indiana, for possessing and selling crack cocaine. U.S. Attorney's Office says the charges are part of a continuing effort to attack the gangs that bring drugs to the streets in northern Indiana. And remember this song? The man behind that song is dead. Gary DiCarlo, who wrote that song and sang it with his group Steam, passed away at a Connecticut hospital after a battle with lung cancer. The one-hit wonder for the band that only stayed together 2 years has stood the test of time since topping the charts in 1969. Chicago sports, Yankees pound the White Sox 12-3. Nationals and Steven Strasburg over the Cubs 8-4. The news is a service of Office Depot Office Max. While you're taking care of business, Office Depot Office Max taking care of you with All Work Pro chairs and Magellan furniture on sale. 60% off a Magellan corner desk, now $96. Hurry, offer ends 7/4. 6:32 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Visit Discount Tire this Friday and Saturday for up to $320 in Visa prepaid cards when you buy select packages with Discount Tire credit. Discount Tire, America's neighborhood tire store.
Bryce's lifeless body slumped over the piano keyboard. His forehead played a dissonant chord that reverberated throughout the hall. Not his best performance, I thought. I opened the back of his neck with my screwdriver. A couple of fresh bars of lithium brought him and the music back to life. I am sure that someday he will do the same for me.
If this 20-second performance made you feel something, imagine what an entire Audible book can do. Visit audible.com to start your free 30-day trial.
If you're familiar with cloud computing, you probably know that Amazon Web Services offers a complete set of secure compute, storage, application, and deployment services that help companies launch and scale their IT infrastructures while lowering costs. But did you know that you're still responsible for protecting your own AWS-based assets, meaning your applications and data, from advanced cyber threats? Protect your AWS with Barracuda Network's advanced firewall solutions. Visit AWS Marketplace or barracuda.com/AWS to learn more.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Bob Aument, a founding partner of the law firm of Dassman & Aument and longtime personal customer of Signature Bank. Our firm recently left one of the larger banks to bank with Signature Bank, and it's been a refreshing change. With Signature Bank, we've been able to tailor banking solutions that fit the specific needs of our firm. Beyond that, Signature Bank is responsive, efficient, and timely in meeting those needs. If I have a request, I pick up the phone and talk to Mick O'Rourke, not someone at a phone bank thousands of miles away. Daspin and Aument needed more than what the larger banks offer, and we found that with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It is 6:35. Time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. And time to check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Still some storm-related issues to the north in Antioch 173 at 45. There's some down wires in that area. The city of Chicago, signals are malfunctioning at the busy intersection of LaSalle and Wacker. The Edens inbound is 25 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. The Kennedy, 27 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound just 22. Inbound Eisenhower delay start at Manheim, 42 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 32. Stevenson, 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 25 minutes, 95 to downtown. Northbound Tri-State heavy from 111th to the Mile Long Bridge. Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. The other tollways are good. Northbound I-65 is closed at 114 in Rensselaer after an overnight crash. Traffic service of Napa Auto Parts. This month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. The rugged Bluetooth speaker with 20-hour battery life is just $29.99. That's right, now you can have the freedom to play music wherever you please for just $29.99 while supplies last. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Variable clouds. We'll have a breezy and warm day with a very humid afternoon that may result in a shower or thunderstorm and a high of 84. Storms continue into the overnight hours with a low of 68. Currently 70. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. HealthQuest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
Some call me the sage from South Central. Others call me the czar of common sense. But you can call me Larry Elder. And you're invited to join me tonight, starting at 7, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the Cubs made their second appearance at the White House, Amy.
Yeah, it wasn't an official visit because that happened, of course, during the Obama administration because the First Lady, Michelle Obama, who knew, was a huge Cub fan.
Was she as big a Cubs fan as Barack Obama was a Sox fan, the guy who couldn't name any player on the team or the stadium?
I think she was a bigger, more astute Cub fan than he was a Sox fan because she knew all the players and greeted them when they came to the White House. But so yesterday, in this case, they stood around President Trump, presented him with a 45 jersey, because he's the 45th president. See how that works?
Yeah, I got that.
Gave him an away jersey. But I just couldn't get over at how giddy Chris Bryant was. I mean, he was, in every picture, he was smiling. He was excited. And I'm starting to think that maybe he's a Republican. Now, we know Jake Arrieta is a Republican because of the tweets that he made after Trump won. When he said, hey, all of you Hollywood elites who said you're going to move out of the country, I can help you pack and move.
Get moving.
If you'd like. So, but while he was there, of course, they talked about health care. Reporters did because it was the one question that they had on their minds. And Donald Trump, President Trump, with Chris Bryant by his side. And Todd Ricketts said this. Oh, where did it go? Next gen. Where's the next gen? Stand by. Ready? Here we go.
No, we don't.
Oh, this makes me sad.
Healthcare is working along very well. We could have a big surprise with a great healthcare package. So now they're happy.
What do you mean by big surprise, sir?
I think you're going to have a great surprise. It's going to be great.
So we're going to have another big surprise.
You have a hole in your swing like Anthony Rizzo. Took you two whiffs on that clip.
Hey, third strike and I'm out, so I got it on the air. But, of course, the big news yesterday was about Miguel Montero because he made Well, he's gone, but I don't think he should be gone. I mean, I know he's
terrible.
0 for 31 and hasn't thrown anyone out on base, a runner out, since the season started. But
that's all Jake Arrieta's fault.
Well, this is what he said. Well, let me start with this. Your buddy, Mark Giangreco, over there at Channel 7, admitted that sometimes he's made mistakes while introducing the Miggy Montero story. Oh, here we go again. Hold on.
We got 2 strikes and you're out here, right?
I'm not sure I would even do something this stupid. Although,
we'll let you answer.
It's not about me
that
anyway.
Boy, that's the deepest cut of all. When you're Mark Giangreco is saying you exercise poor judgment.
Yeah, that is. Then you know that you're in big trouble. But so Miguel Montero, Miggy, blamed Jake Arrieta for not pitching the ball fast enough. And that's the reason why they had 7 steals in their games against the Nationals.
It really sucked because, like the stolen bases go to me. And when you really look at it, the pitcher doesn't give me any time. So it's just like, yeah, okay, Miggy can throw somebody out. Yeah, but my pitchers don't hold anybody on it.
Oh, boy. If you're 0 for 31, don't blame the pitching staff for anything, Miguel Montero. Just a little tip for you. I mean, I know he's not in the lineup for his bat, but you don't want to create acrimony.
If he hadn't said anything, he would still have his job today. He would still be with the Cubs. He would have gone to the White House.
Well, they designated him for assignment because he criticized Arrieta. Is that what they said?
Yeah.
Is that what they said?
Well,
are you reading into it?
This is what Jed Hoyer said, and this is going to work.
Doesn't mean we don't have a ton of respect and appreciation for what he did for us for 2.5 years, but ultimately, given where we are as a team, we felt like the things he said were sort of against what we're trying to accomplish right now, and we felt like I said, it was right to move on without him.
Yeah. You speak poorly of the Cubs or of Jake Arrieta or somebody, you're gone.
Well, there is such a thing as team unity, locker room dynamic, and so you're a coach.
Yeah,
you get it.
But you know what? You know who should care and who should have the final and only say in this is Jake Arrieta, and he forgave him.
I love Miggy. As you guys know, he'll say some things, from the heart, the way he feels, and he's honest, open and honest. He regretted what he said. He felt bad about it. And I told him that I'm not upset or mad at him. And there's a lot of honesty there. I didn't do him any favors.
So, end of discussion. I mean, it's so ridiculous to me that somebody says they don't have a right to free speech.
What I'm sorry.
A player, if he criticizes another player,
they do have
he's gone.
A right to free speech. Well, this isn't government censorship.
Yes, it
is. This isn't a professional private organization that is making a determination on employee conduct. So let's just separate it out from constitutional issues because there's no constitutional issue here. But there is a question. And the question is, does anyone else listening care about Miguel Montero's fate in addition to Amy Jacobson? 312-642-5600, Turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, Turnkey.pro text line. Including Miguel Montero, if you're listening. Please call in. Do you care as much about being designated for assignment as Amy Jacobson does for you?
I feel bad for this could have been a learning experience. This could have been a teaching experience for those young kids in the clubhouse. Like, hey.
Sure. The 11-year-olds there that don't know what this whole 22, professional baseball 23. Thing is about.
I know, but I mean, come on. If I criticize you, is my job in jeopardy? Wow, you even kicked me out before I finished my sentence.
You'd be designated for assignment at WLS.
Don't make me go back there, please.
Hey.
No, don't make me go back.
We run a tight ship around here. You don't think Jed Hoyer is the only one with a quick trigger?
Also, coming out of yesterday's meeting at the White House, this is the best story ever. I'm sure you saw it on social media, but
the long-standing running joke that Tom Ricketts and Ted Cruz are the same person.
Yeah, so Senator Ted Cruz and Tom Ricketts finally got together. Thank goodness they were both wearing kind of matching color suits and take a picture in front of the World Series trophy. And it is just unbelievable. So he tweeted out the picture Senator Cruz did saying, "Great to host Tom Ricketts. Congrats on the World Series. Should have been the Astros." Well, social media went crazy and people, I seriously don't know which one's which. Somebody else tweeted, "Who's who?" This is my favorite. Both their dads killed Kennedy.
That's pretty good. And then Rahm tweeted to Tom that picture doesn't represent Chicago values.
Oh, yeah, right.
And then Tom Tunney tweeted that he's going to be up Tom Ricketts' butt over that photo.
And another person tweeted, and we now know who will play Senator Ted Cruz in the movie about his life. But my favorite is Ted Cruz later on in the day tweeted out the best thing ever. He said, for some reason, people keep insulting Tom by saying he looks like me. Poor guy.
That's great.
It was good.
Great dinner theater shtick from Ted Cruz. trying to recapture some of his old juju there. Yeah, momentum has kind of shifted away from Ted Cruz. So
and in case you cared, Tom Ricketts is on the left.
Yeah, no, they are close. Who else does Tom Ricketts also looks like somebody else who also looks then by definition looks like Ted Cruz. There's another Tom Ricketts doppelganger.
Dugard Grayson Allen.
Yeah, I can see that a little bit, but I mean, the good thing about Tom and Ted Cruz is they're contemporaries. You know, Grayson Allen's a kid. Well, he's not a kid, but he's a young man, 22 years old. You got to be, in that ballpark. But there's somebody else. Who am I missing?
I don't. It looks like Tom Ricketts.
Grandpa from the Munsters.
Oh, yes.
Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Grandpa from the Munsters. Also a big Cubs fan.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
And the sad thing, after Chris Bryant left, meeting President Trump and hanging out with him just inches away from him, then he gets injured, catches a foul ball, and then just taps third base and rolls his ankle.
That's because he thought he was walking on air after that time in the White House.
Forecast for today, we're going to have some hot air here and humid air, shower, thunderstorm likely, a high of 84 degrees tonight, a few strong thunderstorms. And then for Friday, breezy, we'll have rain, thunderstorm mix in the morning, a high of 81 degrees. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center to a man who looks only like himself. Here's Jim Telemonte.
That's a good thing, Amy. Don't need another one. Amy and Dan boarding the Edens inbounds. Heavy starting around Oakton. It's 25 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. The Kennedy, 28 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 27. The Eisenhower's a 48-minute drive. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 37. Stevenson, 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 42. The Ryan is 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop Ford is 17. Northbound Tri-State, it's slow, 111th to the Mile Long Bridge. Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Other tollways are good. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Homeland Security to unveil new restrictions on air passengers assessing damage from the global malware infections. And today we have new reports on the economy. Those stories next.
If you have unpaid tax debt to the IRS that you can't pay, please hear this special notice. Specially approved IRS relief programs designed to aid delinquent taxpayers are now in effect that can significantly improve your financial situation. Depending on your circumstances, you may qualify to have your tax problem resolved in your favor and may even have your back taxes reduced by thousands or eliminated entirely. A relief hotline has been established by Community Tax for you to call and see if you qualify at 800-804-7445. If you owe the IRS back taxes that you can't afford to pay, don't let the IRS trick you into thinking you have no way out. Our highly accredited tax professionals will let you know what you qualify for and how much you can save. We may be able to stop all liens, garnishments, levies, and save you thousands. Call and see if you qualify for this taxpayer relief at 800-804-7445. 800-804-7445. That's 800-804-7445. Community Tax. Who's your tax guy?
The Department of Homeland Security has developed new procedures for international flights into this country. Any airline that doesn't comply may have laptops and other electronics barred from passenger compartments. From FedEx in the United States to hospitals, banks, and governments throughout Europe, the costs of this week's malicious computer virus are being added up. The virus has taken a huge toll. Cybersecurity experts say that in Ukraine, where the malware originated, ATMs are still out of order. Airports are checking passengers in manually. And economic reports today include an update on GDP, the latest jobless claims, and more on corporate earnings and profits. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Hey, if you haven't bought a MyPillow yet, why not? Maybe you've seen them in the store, but the radio deal using my name, Amy, as the promo code is a much better deal. It's the best deal available. And in June, you'll get the 50% discount on the MyPillow 4-pack, 2 premium MyPillows, 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, all 50% off. Now, you can move the fill to give you the exact support you need regardless of sleep position, and you'll sleep deep and won't wake up to a stiff neck or headache. I cannot sleep without MyPillow. So our good friend Mike Lindell makes them in the USA using only American labor. You can wash it and dry them. They're hypoallergenic, and you'll get the 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. In June, get the 50% off the 4-pack by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit MyPillow.com, promo code Amy.
I hate cleaning my gutters. I kept hearing ads for that gutter guard system, so I thought, why not? I'll get an estimate. I was shocked. I never thought gutter guards could cost so much. Then I heard about Spring Rock gutter guards. The estimate is free, so it made sense to at least compare them. I was shocked again by how much money they saved me. I'm talking thousands, like enough to take my family to Disney World. They take a different approach to gutter protection. A completely closed design keeps all types of debris out of your gutters. Sure, those higher-priced systems may keep the leaves out, but Spring Rock gets the job done at up to half the price with no compromise on quality. Spring Rock also comes with the same lifetime warranty. If the gutter system ever clogs, they will clean it out for free, no questions asked. Same result for less money. That's smart. There's more than one option when it comes to gutter guards. Compare today and save at springrockgutters.com or call 708-571-0632. Special financing is available. Drain your gutters, not your wallet.
Bryce's lifeless body slumped over the piano keyboard. His forehead played a dissonant chord that reverberated throughout the hall. Not his best performance, I thought. I opened the back of his neck with my screwdriver. A couple of fresh bars of lithium brought him and the music back to life. I am sure that someday he will do the same for me.
If this 20-second performance made you feel something, imagine what an entire Audible book can do. Visit Audible.com to start your free 30-day trial.
If you're familiar with cloud computing, you probably know that Amazon Web Services offers a complete set of secure compute, storage, application, and deployment services that help companies launch and scale their IT infrastructures while lowering costs. But did you know that you're still responsible for protecting your own AWS-based assets, meaning your applications and data, from advanced cyber threats? Protect your AWS with Barracuda Network's advanced firewall solutions. Visit AWS Marketplace or barracuda.com/AWS to learn more.
Oh, ChicagoRadioDeals.com has partnered with two amazing gun establishments to bring you a full curriculum of training classes. To the north in Lake Villa is Red Dot Arms, offering a Refuse to be a Victim seminar. Maybe reporters could go to that one, which teaches basic skills for developing a strategy for your personal safety. Paired with a home and firearm safety course, this non-shooting class teaches you the safe handling and storage of firearms and ammunition in the home. Continue the training with an NRA basic pistol shooting class or the personal protection courses. Set your sights on all the deets of the deals that Red Dot Arms has to offer at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. And to the south in Bolingbrook is the range at 355. This state-of-the-art shooting range features electronic programmable targets and pure air filtration. So grab a deal for 12 hours of range time at $395 value for only $195, plus a 16-hour, 2-day Illinois concealed carry class for only $100. Add pistol fundamentals and a small knife skills class, and you have all the bases covered. So find these Second Amendment deals and all the details only at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
For 5 years, I was with this other company, and I tried everything, and it was costing me a fortune. And on top of that, it wasn't working. And I said, ever since I've taken this product, I have kissed that goodbye. Matter of fact, I said, this has been the first winter that I have gone through without a flu or nothing.
Last year I started on the Balance of Nature. I'm telling you, it really built me up, and it really helped me.
My cholesterol went down. Only after taking it 1 month, I went down 20 points.
I feel better already with it.
I just feel it's made my life more predictable, more useful.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
AM 560. The Answer. Get your tickets for the Summer of Trump on August 22nd, hosted by Joe Walsh and featuring Hugh Hewitt and Guy Benson. Go to 560theanswer.com/summer.
Dan and Amy, we have found somebody who cares about Miguel Montero as much as Amy does, I think.
It's Miggy. Get Miggy with it. La, la, la,
That's a slur.
La, la. No, it's not.
That's a slur.
His nick. Oh, my gosh. Don't get me in trouble for that.
Brian in Mount Greenwood, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Listen, first-time caller, listen to you guys all the time.
Thank you. Good.
Die-hard Cub fan, just want to let you know, it's not so much I care about Montero. It's the reasoning behind why they got rid of him is because he went to the media, didn't keep it within the team, and you guys got to remember he did it right after the World Series, too. He dissed Joe Madden, if you remember.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. What did he? Can you refresh my memory? What did he say again about Madden?
That Madden didn't play him, and there was no reason for it at all, and that he was in Madden's doghouse.
He did have that grand slam, I mean.
Right, so he did play. So it wasn't an issue of getting rid of him because of freedom of speech or anything. It was because he didn't keep it within the team. Listen to you guys all the time. I'll hang up.
Wait, Brian, hold on. I got a question for you. Brian, wait, hold on. Are you still there?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Don't go.
Albert Almaro, did he give Trump the bird or not, in your opinion?
Well, I'm a Trump supporter, so anybody that went there,
you're happy for.
I'm happy for them. The ones who didn't, that's their opinion, but I'm glad they went, so I got no comment on that.
All right, thanks for the call, Brian.
John Lester was there. Jake Arrieta, I did not see him there, but he had pitched the night before, so maybe he was doing yoga.
So here, I'm going to do something I rarely do.
Uh-oh.
I can't recall a time I've done it.
Shh, everybody listen.
The dramatic pregnant pause.
Stop what you're doing and listen to Daniel Proft.
I'm going to rally to the defense of a Chicago Cub, Albert Almora in particular. He's somebody that I don't think would give the finger to the president of a country because from the country from which he hails would be Cuba.
Oh.
If he did that there, he wouldn't have that finger anymore. He responded to the accusations flying around Twitter that he had, surreptitiously given the bird to Trump as seen in the picture that was circulating. Guys were giving me a hard time about it, but I pointed out the second finger. We're all good. Obviously, it's unfortunate. I'm getting ready to take a picture and I'm posing there, but you guys know I would never do that to the President of the United States. I respect everybody. It is what it is. We laugh about it now, but there's definitely two fingers out there.
Okay, two finger.
We examined this with with
a fine-tooth comb.
I would say that we examined this the way that Secret Service examined the Zapruder film. That's how much, in terms of resources and time we devoted to this. There is a second finger.
I'm looking at it right now.
You can see it from the grassy knoll.
Oh,
but there's a second finger.
And this other picture, Chris Bryant is sitting in President Trump's lap. He was so excited. He kept moving closer and closer to him, and he was holding up this goofy green sign, from the scoreboard that said 45 on it.
Well, it was a gift to the president.
I know, but he's like this, and then you see him, and then he's like this, and then he's a little closer. I mean, he's so giddy. It's cute. Anthony Rizzo didn't look happy.
Well, he's just Brian's just a snot-nosed kid. Wait, who'd you say? What was the other player's name?
Anthony Rizzo.
I'm sorry. I don't understand the pronunciation.
Anthony Rizzo.
Oh, thank you very much.
I got to get my Rizzo in.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Why aren't you smiling? You're with the president. Hey.
Yeah.
By the way, I am going to Italy for a few days.
You're going to be a big hit there. Make sure you talk to every Italian in that derogatory manner. I think they'll appreciate that.
I should record it.
Yeah.
I'll record
Especially
it.
Especially coming from a 6-foot Swede. Yeah. I like
Why you busting my onions over here?
I'm sure with the popularity of the Family Guy, they don't get enough of that. So you're getting the business from you, giving you the bobbity boop from you at the Italian deli. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. So
I will go into an Italian. That's my homework assignment. I'm going to go into an Italian deli in Italy and act like that.
Yeah, good. All right. Amy Jacobson still missing. Last seen in Venice. Here is okay. Look, the Crosstown Classic though is in the offing, and I want the rivalry to be as spirited as it always is. But
can I go to the game with you?
No. But in this instance, I just want to give Albert Almora a break. There is a second finger.
Yes.
Said he would never do that.
Why can't I go to the game with you? Because you've got fancy tickets.
I sit near Italians, and so I'm a little worried about how that would turn out for both of us.
Sorry. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll review the new rules promulgated by the White House per the Supreme Court decision on the president's executive order, temporary travel ban from persons from certain countries, as well as the testimony offered by the ICE director. Powerful stuff at 7:07.
And later, new rules, security rules. We'll explain that as well. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, we have breaking business news for you. A big deal involving Deerfield-based Walgreens. We'll have details on that developing story for you in just a moment. No more Powerball sales in the state of Illinois. We'll tell you why. Jason Van Dyke takes the witness stand in the Laquan McDonald case. Cubs visit the president at the White House, and a cloudy and stormy day ahead for us. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
It's about to get a lot harder for some people to come to America. I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News. President Trump's travel ban, blocked for months as targeting Muslims, goes into effect in 12 hours after the Supreme Court partially unblocked it. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, here's how the ban works. Anyone trying to come into the United States from 6 nations deemed terror threats and all refugees must show a bona fide relationship with a U.S. citizen or entity. Bona fide family includes parents, spouses, children, siblings, and sons and daughters-in-law. Not included are grandparents, aunts and uncles, and fiancés. Students and workers with employment contracts are exempt. The ban on the 6 nations lasts for 90 days. Refugees will be blocked for 120 days. Dave.
Rachel, there will be tougher security on everyone else flying to the U.S., affecting all international flights, stricter passenger vetting, more bomb-sniffing dogs, enhanced screening on electronics like laptops.
Unless we all raise our security standards, terrorists who see commercial aviation as the greatest takedown will find and attack the weakest link.
Homeland Security Secretary Kelly, a Roman Catholic cardinal who works closely with the Pope, is fighting allegations of sexual abuse, calling them false.
Cardinal George Pell, appointed by Pope Francis to clean up the Vatican's finances, will return to his native Australia to face sex abuse charges from decades ago. Pell told reporters today he was happy to have a chance to clear his name.
The whole idea of sexual abuse is abhorrent to me.
The 76-year-old Pell is the highest-ranking Vatican official to be charged in the church's sex abuse scandal. In Rome, Cordy Walsh, Fox News.
It'll be windy in Arizona, making it tougher to fight a wildfire near Prescott that's chased a few thousand people from their homes. She's worried.
Because you don't know if the embers will come in your land and stuff like that, you know, because it just takes one spark.
An even bigger fire that's burned down 13 homes in Utah has evacuated more than 1,000 people. Fox News, fair and balanced.
70 degrees. We have cloudy skies this morning. 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Walgreens canceling a merger with competitor Rite Aid this morning. The Deerfield-based company will instead buy nearly 2,200 stores outright. The Chicago area pharmacy saying it will pay more than $5.1 billion for the deal. Once approved, Walgreens will eventually convert the Rite Aid stores to the Walgreens brand. National Weather Service issuing a flood warning for the Kishwaukee River in Belvedere, affecting Boone County and in Winnebago County this morning. High water also seen this morning on the Fox River. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner ratcheting up the pressure in Springfield. The governor yesterday issuing an ultimatum. No balanced budget by the end of the day tomorrow. Everyone stays in Springfield until they do. Lotto players cannot buy Powerball and soon a Mega Millions ticket in the state until the state has passed a budget. The Illinois Lottery has already suspended Powerball. Mega Million ticket sales will be suspended Friday. 2 women are dead following a shooting on Chicago's South Side. The victims traveling in a vehicle last night when someone in another car shot them at 53rd and Wabash. A former Texas state trooper who pulled over Sandra Bland before her death no longer facing perjury charges. That charge dropped against Brian Insinia, who was accused of lying about the circumstances surrounding Bland's 2015 arrest in Prairie View, Texas. The Villa Park native was found dead several days later in her jail cell. Her death ruled a suicide. President Trump meeting with the Cubs at the White House yesterday.
This is a great team, and they were actually here, but they wanted to be here with Trump.
right? The Ricketts family. But I just want to thank and I want to congratulate that team.
Now, you recall the Northsiders already visited the White House to celebrate their title in January before President Obama left office. When you don't win a World Series for over a century, not many are going to complain that you get 2 visits to the White House. Aaron Judge belted his Major League leading 27th home run. Better catch this guy while he's hot. The Yankees pound the White Sox 12-3. Sox skipper Rick Renteria has been ejected for the 3rd time in 6 games. Steven Strasburg was on top of his game, striking out 13 over 7 innings of work. Nationals over the Cubs 8-4. The News Service of Accountants, the leading temporary staffing agency for accounting, finance, and bookkeeping professionals. In fact, 9 out of 10 of their customers would recommend them to a colleague. Call them today or visit accountants.com, a Robert Half company. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Acme Home Insurance.
Yes, I'd like to make a claim.
What are you wanting to claim, sir?
My air conditioner broke down.
Sorry, but your home insurance doesn't cover air conditioner breakdowns.
So what do you cover?
Home damage from things like earthquakes, volcanoes, a zombie apocalypse.
A zombie apocalypse? But that'll never happen.
But if it did, you'd be covered, sir.
But not my air conditioner?
I'm afraid not.
But his air conditioner could have been covered with a home warranty from American Home Shield, plus major components of 20 other home systems and appliances, like his electrical system, plumbing, refrigerator, and more. For valuable free information, call 1-800-700-2119. Homeowners insurance can cover what might happen.
Zombies are coming!
But a home warranty helps cover what will happen.
Now the dryer won't work.
Be sure with the Shield. American Home Shield. For valuable free information, call 1-800-700-2119. That's 1-800-700-2119. 1-800-700-2119.
With Quicken Loans, our simple process helps you understand all the details so you can be confident that you're getting the right mortgage. Call 800-QUICKEN or go completely online with Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.23%. Call 800-QUICKEN or get started online at rocketmortgage.com. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Summer involves a lot of driving to camp, to work, to soccer, back home to grab what they forgot, and then back to soccer again. So wouldn't you like to know your car is up for it? Enter Hum by Verizon. Now you can check your car's health from your phone with vehicle diagnostics, drive with more peace of mind thanks to 24/7 emergency assistance, and let the kids stream and game on the go with your car's own Wi-Fi hotspot. Get Hum and get where you're going. Learn more at hum.com. Verizon Wi-Fi available on Hum X only. Data usage applies. Coverage not available everywhere. Visit vzw.com for availability.
7:07. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Edens Expressway inbound. It's slow from Niles Center to the junction. 25 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound. 23. Kennedy. Looking at 33 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 16 from Montrose. 13 in the Express. Outbound. 15 minutes to Montrose. 36 to O'Hare. Inbound Eisenhower. Delay start at St. Charles. 48 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound, looking at 37 minutes. Stevenson, 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 42. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 18 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Northbound Tri-State. Heavy from 111th to the Mile-Long Bridge. The Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Veterans Memorial, slow Butterfield to Roosevelt. The Army Trail toll to 290. The other tollways are good. There was an earlier crash near Rensselaer, which closed northbound I-65. Now it's just a left lane blockage starting at State Road 16. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Breezy with clouds and sun today, then a couple of late afternoon showers and a thunderstorm with a high 86. A couple of strong evening thunderstorms around, followed by occasional late night rain and a thunderstorm with a low tonight of 68. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
71 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Radio Garden Sense, a show bringing your property's gardening needs alive. Radio Garden Sense, Sunday mornings at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the topic of immigration and immigration policy after the United States Supreme Court gave the president I would call it a partial victory on his executive order. The White House has now promulgated new protocols for persons from the Muslim majority countries in Trump's original temporary travel ban. And by the way, even conservative outlets use travel ban. Temporary travel ban. It is not too onerous to include one more word in the description. That word is an operative word. Temporary.
Okay, well, then President Trump should use it too.
Agreed.
Temporary travel ban. But yeah, it begins tonight at 8 o'clock.
Right. The 6 countries again in question: Syria, Iran, Somalia, Yemen, Sudan, and Libya. And this report I read in the Washington Examiner is based off of a State Department cable that was sent to U.S. embassies and consulates yesterday, which explains the guidelines governing the close family or business ties needed for an exemption to the ban, as so articulated by the court.
Yeah, and it's a little different. I mean, you can come here if you have a parent, spouse, child, adult son, adult daughter, a sibling, a daughter or son-in-law, or if you're going to come to work for a U.S. company, or if you're going to attend one of the universities here. You cannot come here if you have grandparents, grandchildren, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, cousins, a fiance, a brother, or a sister-in-law. So that's a little different because some people thought that
immediate family,
right? Just immediate family. That's it. So that starts at 8 o'clock tonight, and I hope it's a smooth rollout because remember last time it was a little confusing and people were detained and then they had protests at the airports because some people were in air while they were implementing the temporary travel ban.
And a related story, acting ICE director Tom Homan gave a off-camera White House briefing yesterday, and he said a couple of things that were rather important. You want to talk about a change in tone from one administration to the other. He said, no illegal immigrant in America should be comfortable. No one should be comfortable. He highlighted that President Trump's executive orders on illegal immigration has led to the arrest of 66,000 individuals known or suspected of being in the country illegally, which is a 40% increase over the same period last year. So having an effect, he said people who enter the U.S. illegally should not be comfortable and instead should be concerned that somebody is looking for them.
Wow.
He also said this about the culpability of sanctuary city politicians, like, for example, Tiny Dancer and Grady here in Chicago and Cook County.
Tony Preckwinkle.
All right.
Cook County Board President. You're welcome.
Tom Homan, the question that was put to him, should victims of crimes committed by persons here illegally be able to hold politicians who support sanctuary cities at least civilly responsible for what happened? Okay.
Sanctuary jurisdictions pose a threat to the American public by refusing to work with ICE and allowing egregious criminal offenders back into the community to put the lives of the public at risk. Not to mention the fact it also puts my law enforcement officers at risk. They have to go back on the street to arrest somebody they could have arrested in a county jail.
Director, would you support allowing victims of illegal aliens to sue the city officials of sanctuary cities?
We'll let the city ask questions. Yes.
Would you support allowing victims of criminal aliens in sanctuary cities to sue the city officials?
For those who make the decisions
to ignore the law.
To the street?
Yes.
You agree with that? Should Tiny Dancer, Grady be potentially held civilly liable for crimes committed by illegal aliens by crime victims? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Congressman Steve King from Iowa Yeah.
Yeah,
Iowa. Neck of the woods.
Yes.
You're tight with Steve King. He was at a National Press Club press conference on Tuesday to launch a group called Advocates for Victims of Illegal Alien Crime, AVIAC.
I was waiting for the acronym.
Not a great acronym.
No.
Not a great acronym. Advocates for Victims of Illegal Alien Crime. Okay. Among those who were assembled with them, of course, the parents of crime victims, with relatives of crime victims. Maureen Maloney, my son is dead because politicians and local jurisdictions have put illegal aliens ahead of American citizens. Her son was killed in August 2011 by a drunken, unlicensed, undocumented immigrant. And we've played other accounts from other parents who've testified before Congress who are part of the families that stood up and spoke on behalf of candidate Trump at the time last year.
Yeah. And they met with President Trump yesterday because today the House votes on Kate's law and about penalizing sanctuary cities.
That's right. And here's what Steve King had to say about this whole business.
Now this contempt for the rule of law, this demand where people come to the streets and they say, I demand a path to citizenship because I want to be an American. Well, that's not good enough. You have to also abide by our laws. And if you're a confessed lawbreaker, don't be pressing this society for us to grant you amnesty. Instead, we need to enforce every immigration law that we have. And when we encounter them in the streets, then we need to apply the law. In fact, the law requires they be placed in removal proceedings. And so when I look at the tragedy of these families and I think of the testimony before the committee, hearing after hearing, week after week, month after month, year after year, this began to accumulate in my head, the tragedies.
And remember what Director Homan said. It's not just about the public at large. He also said it's also about my officers, because now you're forcing my officers, ICE officers, to go on the street and try and obtain people who are here illegally, as opposed to being able to do so at a detention facility, take them into custody. So the exposure of people, American citizens, police officers, ICE officers, to violence because of this empty-headed policy where we can't even separate violent predators in this country illegally from American citizens, or even from those here illegally who are otherwise peaceable, or who are children who were brought here illegally by their parents. We can't make those distinctions. The left makes those distinctions rhetorically, but doesn't want to do anything about it from an enforcement perspective, and the implementation is where the rubber meets the road. So if you're not willing to implement anything, your high-minded rhetoric doesn't mean much. And that's where we're at in this country, although it's changing, as Homan was outlining. I love the issue of piercing sovereign immunity for politicians and starting to hold them personally and civilly, at minimum civilly responsible for their abrogation of upholding the rule of law, their purposeful, willful abrogation of their duties.
Can you imagine if somebody here illegally, a criminal who attacked one of Rahm Emanuel's children? I mean, I think he'd feel a lot differently about sanctuary cities then.
Yeah, except most people's children don't have police details. That's the difference. One of the differences. John from Portage Park.
Hey, good morning. How are you guys?
Morning.
Good.
Yeah, I think they should be held accountable. They're elected officials. They're supposed to uphold the law, and it's about time somebody just kind of clipped their wings. And I think if a couple of them are prosecuted or sued, it might put the other people in line, that they're not above the law. They just can't decide, hey, listen, we're going to let this slide.
Yeah.
People are being heard. Enough is enough.
Thanks for the call, John. There is this discretionary function exemption to the Federal Tort Claims Act, providing sovereign immunity to federal officials. And some of the sovereign immunity certainly redounds to state and local level officials as well for public policy decisions. And there's some sense to that because you don't want everything endlessly litigated under a tort claim. However, when it is willful abrogation of your duties to uphold the law, then we're talking about something else. That seems to me a sensible exception, and that's where I think Director Homan was going. Rick on the west side.
Yeah, good morning, Dan and Amy. Hey, listen, that's part of the law already. You know, we have a lot of redundant laws. That's part of Section 1324, 1325, the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1994, Section 274.
Which part? Which part?
Pardon me?
Which part exactly?
Well, it's part of that statute, and it states right in the statute, the politician lets illegal aliens reside in the community with impunity. He loses his color of law protection, and he can be sued individually and punitively.
Oh,
that's what needs to happen.
Okay.
Very.
Thanks for thanks for shepherdizing the statute, so I didn't have to. Thanks for the call, Rick. That's good. So if it's available now, then somebody should bravely go forth and put Tiny Dancer to the test, don't you think? Mm-hmm. Will in Skokie.
Yeah, hi guys. They should extend this too to the Illinois legislators who've been driving us into the ground financially. And personally, from my point of view, how about code inspectors who regularly miss crap, and people get hurt and buildings collapse and back porches collapse.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Will. Well, and here's the thing too. Just Will extending the conversation about sovereign immunity and talking about Illinois policy. I mean, the SEC ruled that from 2005 to 2009, the state of Illinois fraudulently sold $2.2 billion worth of state bonds. Fraud. They committed fraud by underreporting the funding levels of state pensions. So somebody committed that fraud. No one was ever prosecuted. No names were ever mentioned. Fraud just committed itself. The bonds sold themselves. The authorization to sell the bonds just did itself. This is the frustration.
That was from 2005 to 2009?
Yeah. The Securities and Exchange Commission concluded that in a rebuke to the state, but a rebuke to the state without teeth, a rebuke to the state without any individual accountability. And this is, I think, what people are tired of, that you can pick and choose which laws you want to enforce depending on the political winds of the time and your own political ambitions and who your constituents are. You can even commit fraudulent acts, and it's just all, unfortunate mistakes that were made by themselves. You can understand the frustration, and you can understand, certainly, it goes beyond frustration if you've had a family member who's been a victim of violent crime at the hands of someone who shouldn't be here. George in Libertyville.
Yeah, good morning. This is an absolute outrage. When Rahm Emanuel kicked the door open and virtually invited people to sue the police for trying to protect people, and at the same time are letting these violent criminals in, you're damn right these guys should be able to be sued. Absolutely.
Thanks for the call, George. Now, the only difficulty is for Rahm, he's just trying to get that tunnel built to O'Hare before the lawsuits start flying so he can escape on a little bicycle, El Chapo style. That's what you think. I think Elon Musk is going to fund it with all those Tesla subsidies. They'll put a little motorbike on rails there. Rahm could probably even enlist El Chapo's cartel to build it for him at cost. And then he's got the quick motorcycle out to O'Hare, and he's out of here.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Clouds right now. It's breezy, it's warm, and it's going to be humid, and we can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm, a high of 84 degrees. Tonight, a few strong thunderstorms, and then for Friday, Friday, it'll be breezy. We'll have rain, a thunderstorm in the morning, a high of 81 degrees. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Is it stormy on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte with the answer.
Well, Amy and Dan, the expressways and tollways aren't too bad. The Eden's just 20 minutes, Lake Hook to the junction, outbound 25. Kennedy at 33 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 36. The Eisenhower, 41 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, which is lighter than normal for this hour. Outbound, it's 39 minutes. Stevenson, 46 minutes, 355 to the drive, outbound 42. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, the delays are from 111th to the Mylong Bridge, from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Veterans Memorial to the Butterfield to Roosevelt. The Army Trail toll to 290. The other tollways look good. There are closures now in downtown Chicago. Columbus, between Roosevelt and Monroe, also stretches of Congress and Jackson to set up for Taste of Chicago, which doesn't start till July 5th. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing mortgage, then you need to call David Hochberg, Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. Mark and Rachel contacted David to refinance the commercial loan they secured against their Buffalo Grove home to finance their business after their current lender declined their loan at the last minute. One of David's 15 mortgage professionals, J.P. Marzano, used the same exact information Mark and Rachel's bank used to decline their loan to refinance Mark and Rachel's home before their commercial loan ballooned. Let's review. Mark and Rachel's bank declined their loan, and David's team saved them over $1,800 a month. So if you're securing a mortgage, you should work with the best, and the best in the mortgage business is Team Hochberg over there at Pearl Mortgage. The first and only call you need to make when securing a mortgage is to call David. Do it now, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. David helped me and thousands of AM 560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186.
You all know America's Bar and Grill in Hoffman Estates has the best Tuesday night trivia in the Northwest Burbs, right? Woo! Yes! Good. But did you know every time you play and win at America's Bar and Grill, you and all your trivia teammates are qualified to win tickets aboard their 8th annual party bus to a Cubs game?
That's right, baby. VIP.
Plus, all trivia players receive 30% off their food orders. Now, just for listening to AM 560 The Answer, they're offering you a chance to qualify to win 2 tickets aboard the America's Bar party bus to a Cubs game. Just answer this simple trivia question. What movie is this quote from? You're killing me, Smalls. Post your answer on the America's Bar and Grill Facebook page, and you're entered to win. It's that easy. For more info about America's Bar and Grill, visit americasbar.com or on Facebook at America's Bar and Grill. America's Bar and Grill, they have it all. Sports, indoor bags, pool tables, darts, dancing, and Trivia Tuesdays.
Hey, protect your firearms and valuables in the best. A Liberty Safe from Maxson Shooters Supply. Maxson is Illinois' largest Liberty Safe dealer and stocks the complete line of Liberty Safes the best money can buy. Not in stock? Maxson will order it. You can pick it up at Maxson or have it delivered and installed almost anywhere in your home. And for a limited time, Liberty is offering interest-free financing for qualified customers. Owning a Liberty Safe has never been so easy. No money down and 0% financing for year one. Hey, visit libertysafe.com for details. For over 25 years, millions of American homes have trusted Liberty Safes to protect their guns, keep them out of reach of children, and protect their valuables from theft and fire. Liberty stands behind every safe with a lifetime warranty. If anyone tries to break into your Liberty Safe, they'll repair or replace it for free. Hey, choose the best. Trust a Liberty Safe from Maxson Shooter Supply in Des Plaines. Visit MAXONshooters.com or shop online at libertysafe.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Go to our website, GreatParkingLots.com. Check it out, GreatParkingLots.com.
Go to GreatParkingLots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. GreatParkingLots.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
When I heard of Balance of Nature, and I said, because I had prayed, Lord, how am I going to get all this food into me that's so good to me? That's when I called. Now I know that I get my fruits and my vegetables into me, and I don't have to work so hard. I know that I am getting the proper things into my body. I do believe that if I didn't have this already in my body, my Balance of Nature, it wouldn't have gone so good for me. But because my body was healthy, that's what kept me going.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
First, this text from 219. Tunnels to O'Hare, how superfluous. Just use the sewers like Vienna. Ramdolas, underground sewer boat pushers. That's a good idea. I like that.
A new reason for the deep tunnel.
I tell you. Ooh. All right, coming up, we're talking to Grover Norquist, president of Americans for Tax Reform. The question, should Republicans in the Senate pass the Obamacare replace immediately or scrap it and start over? That's at 7:37.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. It is 68 degrees. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. The National Weather Service has a flood warning up for the Kishwaukee River, and because of the heavy overnight rain, high water also on the Fox River this morning. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner ratcheting up the pressure in Springfield. Lawmakers have pretty much ignored the governor's special session so far. There's been some debate and some agreement in committees on parts of a new state budget. Democrat obstruction of Rauner's budget plans, led by House Speaker Democrat Mike Madigan, have resulted in Illinois going without a full state budget for more than 2 years. So the governor issued that warning, no balanced budget by the end of the day tomorrow, or he will keep special sessions in hand, keeping everyone at the State House until a deal is reached. President Trump's executive order banning travel from 6 countries is expected to begin today. A recent Supreme Court decision temporarily upholds parts of that travel ban. Security being tightened on foreign flights arriving in the U.S.
They will include enhanced screening of electronic devices, more thorough passenger vetting, and new measures designed to mitigate the potential threat of insider attacks.
In a D.C. speech yesterday, Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly argued that airlines that flunk U.S. safeguards or refuse to cooperate could face an expanded U.S. ban on laptops and other large electronic devices. Iraqi forces say they've recaptured a mosque in Mosul, where ISIS declared its caliphate 3 years ago. Taking control of the Great Mosque of El Nuri puts government troops in control of the terrorists' last fortification in Mosul's old city. Top advisor to Pope Francis being charged with sexual assault. Police in Australia charging Cardinal George Pell with historic sexual assault offenses. Victoria Deputy Police Commissioner Shane Patton.
Cardinal Pell is facing multiple charges in respect to historic sexual offences, and there are multiple complainants relating to those charges.
Pell is now the treasurer of the Vatican. 2 women are dead following a shooting on Chicago's South Side near 53rd and Wabash. Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke is remaining tight-lipped about the deadly shooting of Laquan McDonald in 2014. Van Dyke did not discuss the incident when he took the witness stand yesterday for the first time since being charged with murdering the black teen. People who live in a Vancouver, Canada neighborhood are not getting mail because a crow keeps attacking a mailman in the Canadian city. Now you say, well, a couple of days without mail's not that big of a deal. The crow is a well-known bird called Canuck, and it's a little bigger deal than you think because the bird has a leg band and a penchant for swiping shiny objects, like a knife from a recent crime scene. Canada Post telling everyone in the neighborhood deliveries are stopped until the crow moves on. Neighbors have not gotten mail delivered in 2 months. Aaron Judge belting his Major League leading 27th home run. Yankees pound the White Sox 12-3. Nationals 8-4 winners over the Cubs. The news, a service of Accountemps, the leading temporary staffing agency for accounting, finance, and bookkeeping pros. In fact, 9 out of 10 of their customers would recommend them to a colleague. Call them today or visit Accountemps.com to learn more. Accountemps is a Robert Half company. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
So here's the deal. When I hear the word bipartisanship, I get really, really nervous.
The Joe Walsh Show.
Bipartisanship, coming together, working together, because I know every time Republicans reach across that aisle and they work with Democrats, government gets bigger.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
I don't like bipartisanship. Stay partisan.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Dave Geiselhart, president and owner of Home Trust Mortgage and customer of Signature Bank. When the large banks turned away from the mortgage lending industry during the financial crisis, I turned to locally owned Signature Bank. Signature Bank stepped in and helped me expand our business at a time when the larger banks wouldn't. Today, I'm proud to say Home Trust Mortgage has been able to expand our business in Illinois and the Great Lakes region. We couldn't have done that without the help of Signature Bank. Signature Bank truly helps Chicago businesses like mine grow and thrive. That's why we also became personal customers and shareholders of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
7:36. Let's get an update on the roads this morning. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Kennedy, traffic is slow from Austin to Chicago Avenue. It's 30 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 18 from Montrose, 20 in the Express. Outbound 35 minutes to O'Hare. Eden's 20 minutes, Lake Cook Junction, outbound 25. The Eisenhower, 41 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 39. Mount Stevenson, 52 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 41. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Mild delays on southbound Lakeshore Drive from Fullerton to North Avenue and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound Tri-State slow. 115th to the Hinsdale Oasis from the Reagan all the way to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial slows 75th most to the way to Roosevelt and from the Army Trail toll to 290. Traffic is the service of Lowe's. Shop Lowe's Go 4th event to get prepared for your next barbecue with a 2-pack of Kingsford charcoal now for just $9.88. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Offer valid 6/28 through 7/5. Limit 2 bags per customer. While supplies last, U.S. only. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Providing the right climate for business since 1935. Variable clouds this morning. Breezy, warm, and more humid. That may bring on an afternoon shower or thunderstorm. High 84. Currently 71 at O'Hare. Your water temp at Wilmette Harbor this morning is 64. And your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, all right, we've got a bit of a skirmish happening within the Republican ranks, even among conservatives. To wit, you have an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal by Bill Galston, tear up the GOP health care bill and start over. Now, in the Washington Post, Douglas Holtz-Eakin says the Senate health care bill will give us better care and a better economy. And the Wall Street Journal editorial board pillaring moderates like Rob Portman, calling them members of the Republicade Party because of their unwillingness to reform the budget buster that is Medicaid, at least at the state level.
But don't they need a compromise agreement by the end of the week, and then they could send it to the CBO and all that?
Well, what they need is for conservative intellectuals with weight inside the Beltway to adjudicate this dispute. And we've got one of those up next to help us do it right now. He is Grover Norquist, President of Americans for Tax Reform. Grover, thanks for being with us again. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Good to be with you.
So, Douglas Holtz-Eakin, Bill Galston, who's right? What should Senate Republicans be doing at this moment?
Well, just for the record, Bill Galston's a Democrat.
No, I know he's not.
Democrat. Okay.
But you do have conservatives essentially saying start over. He's not the only one.
Okay. We need 50 votes in the Senate to pass a bill that deconstructs as much of Obamacare as you can, given the Senate rules. You can't do everything you want. Plus, it requires 50 votes, and not all 52 Republicans in the Senate are Ronald Reagan conservatives. And so you're putting that together. Here's where we are. We are within spitting distance of an agreement that will eliminate, over time, all of the tax cuts, increases, all the tax increases in Obamacare. That's $1 trillion over a decade. They get rid of about $600 billion of them right away under the present structure. They eliminate and make optional, state by state, a lot of the regulations that make health insurance more expensive. Remember, we were promised by the Democrats that your health premiums would go down by $2,500, $2,500. In fact, they went up about that much. Mm-hmm. And as a result, people are very unhappy, as they should be. We need to allow states to say, you know what, we're opting out of this. We're not going to have those expensive regulations. And in addition, we need to take Medicaid, which is bankrupting states, and send it block grant out to the states, as even Bill Clinton agreed to do with aid to families with dependent children, welfare. All of these things will be in the final package. There'll be some back and forth. I think they'll spend more money than you or I might like in the first few years in order to pay off some of those Republicans who think that bringing money back to their districts or their states is their job, rather than to make for a strong pro-growth economy in the whole country. But they can do that. There is so much reform benefits to be had that a little messiness in the transition is worth every penny. And because of that, there will be an agreement, and they'll score it and check it. Now, the CBO score is nonsense. Understand, the CBO told us they were off by 24 million in how many people Obamacare, it would be covered by health care once Obamacare passed. They're 24 million high, okay, if you can imagine. All of their mistakes were on the benefit of Obamacare and the Democrats, because the staff doing this all used to be Democrats.
Undershot Medicaid spending by 30% and so on, right?
Yeah, it's 65% in some cases on the Medicaid expansion questions. They were just off by as to how many people would be on Obamacare itself. They were off by a factor of 2, 20 million, not 10. But the only thing that really matters from the CBO is, do they score it as being deficit neutral in years 11 to 50? That's the requirement in order to make it permanent. And they've scored it as a $300 billion net increase in reduction in the deficit, net increase in our stability, reduction in deficit spending going forward. And that means that the whole bill can be passed with 50 votes. That's the legal thing that matters. The rest of it is politics. They've come up with ridiculous numbers. There are 15 million people, they say, would opt out of Obamacare if it wasn't mandatory. 15 million, they don't like it, they don't want it, they don't want to pay for what Obama charges for his Obamacare, they don't get anything that's worthwhile for them, they don't want any part of it, they would leave. Including 4 million people, they say, would quit being on Medicare. I'm not quite sure why you do that since it's free, but that's the nonsense
the CBO.
that the Congressional Budget Office put out. And as a result, they're saying this is so bad, Obamacare is so bad, that most of the people in it, if they weren't forced to be in it, would leave. And then they say those people were denied health care.
Right, which is a lie.
Well, it's like saying the people of East Germany, once the wall came down, were denied the privilege of staying in East
They were denied the
Yes,
wall.
exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So
they left. They left, for crying out loud. So we're going to get this passed. It's going to be messy, and some people are going to look at it and say, you know, we should have voted for something that cost less money, that the transition was shorter. Yeah. We need to get this locked down. We can always come back and improve it, but the next step is a pro-growth tax policy, and you can't do that until you get the $700 billion to $1 trillion of tax reduction that is getting rid of Obamacare. Obamacare was 20 taxes that cost $1 trillion over a decade, and they stuck a stethoscope on the top of it and said, Obamacare. The massive tax and spending program that on every level, from what Obama claimed would happen, your premiums will go down. No one will be not covered. No taxes on you, average person. Okay.
Well, Governor Norquist, that said, what's the big promise here with this new health care bill? I mean, Obama's promise was you can keep if you like your insurance, you can keep your insurance. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor.
Yes, and there's and you won't get any tax increase. The promise that Republicans can and will make is that they will make it possible for every state to opt out. The competent states and the competent governors love this legislation. The incompetent governors and the incompetently governed states don't want it because they know they're not capable of making decisions. And I'm sorry for those states that they can't hold the rest of us back. We're going to see failed states like California, which just recently the Senate voted to pass single payer. This is what Bernie Sanders and the Democrats all want for all of America. The cost of that was $400 billion, which is twice the California budget for everything. Okay, so the single payer was going to be twice the budget that California presently has for everything, roads and police and teachers and everything. And the House didn't pass it. But here you have the Democrats in their biggest state saying, we want this for the whole country, but it's too destructive and expensive and stupid for us. That is the Democrat alternative. The Republican plan, get rid of the tax increases in Obamacare, block grant Medicaid out to the states, let states figure out what works. Right now, there's no reason, if you're a state, to try and look for any fraud and eliminate it, because it's free money stolen from somebody else, sent through Washington, and if you catch, $1 billion of fraud, you don't get anything for that. You get nothing for that.
And
when it's your money,
right,
you will root out the fraud.
And just in terms of the Republican proposal as well, it also then ostensibly brings providers back into the marketplace. You have competition among providers offering differing plans so that you can tailor a plan that fits your particular health insurance needs. And I don't need, maternity care if I'm, a 55-year-old male, that sort of thing.
Correct. And interestingly and importantly, it also dramatically increases health savings accounts, how much money you can put in them. And Obamacare has taxes on people with flexible spending accounts. 30 million Americans, many of your listeners have flexible savings accounts. That is taxed and limited under Obamacare. Those taxes and limitations are removed by the Republican plan. If you have a health savings account, 20 million Americans, again, many of your listeners have a health savings account. The taxes that Obama put on trying to kill health savings accounts, because it is patient and family-centered rather than bureaucrat-centered, those regulations and those taxes are withdrawn, and how much you can save and put into a health savings account and what you can do with that is dramatically increased. So you will have more options, more freedom, and even the CBO recognizes that it will cost less to do it under the Republican plan than if we stayed with Obamacare. The other thing we avoid, part of what happened when we elected Trump in the Republican House and Senate, is a whole series of things that had Hillary and the Democrats won didn't happen, okay? So what didn't happen? They were planning on turning telecommunications into a government monopoly, like a utility. They'd passed a regulation to do that. They had a law coming down the pike through the regulations that would outlawed franchises. So if everybody who runs a small Subway or McDonald's or Burger King or any of those franchises, they would have to be employees. They would no longer be small businessmen in the local community. It'd have to be only one big company. All of these things were set aside. And on health care, they were going to squish us into a European-style single-payer plan that even California won't do.
So as we look at this with McConnell pushing off the vote, is it going to be conservatives, Cruz and Lee and Paul, that are the most strident holdouts, or is it going to be the Portmans and the Susan Collinses of the world? How do you get to the 50 that you need to move this?
Our challenge is some of the moderates, and they're not moderates. They're under pressure from the corrupt big cities in their states to say, give me money, give me money, give me money. They want the special interests, liked free money in Obamacare. They didn't spend it wisely. They spent it on themselves, not the way patients and doctors would have wanted. And some of the weaker Republicans, that just mean weaker in terms of their capacity to stand up to special interests, are going to be the last aboard. Cruz and Lee and Johnson of Wisconsin, they are solid Reagan Republicans. They understand fully that this is the reform of two entitlements, Medicaid, which is bankrupting states, and Obamacare, which is falling apart and collapsing and will lead to ruin and massive bailouts if it's not put to sleep as soon as possible. These are the conservative Republicans get this. They quite correctly say, we could do better than the plan that's there. Absolutely. If you had 51 votes in the Senate and 218 in the House. We are moving this bill with Mitch McConnell in the Senate will be as conservative as it can be and win with 50 votes, plus the vice president's signature. And then we move to step two, which was always clear in people's minds. Step two is the over 1,000 decisions that the Secretary of Health and Human Services, HHS, Dr. Price, Republican congressman, very conservative Reagan Republican from Georgia, he will get to decide in over 1,000 cases whether a regulation is enforced or removed.
All right.
Because Obamacare was set up to give almost dictatorial powers to HHS. We can use those powers for good.
All right. Grover Norquist, president of Americans for Tax Reform. Grover, thanks as always for joining us and distilling this issue for us. We appreciate it.
We'll win.
All right. A note of optimism from Grover. There you go.
Eddie joined us on our turnkey winning.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Shopping for a new car can be a real pain. It can be intimidating, exhausting, and even make your blood boil. Nobody wants that. What you need is a dealer that helps you get the best vehicle for you and your family while skipping the high-pressure nonsense. That's where Joe Cotton Ford is different. They'll help you find the new Ford car, truck, or SUV that fits your lifestyle and your budget with no hassles, no drama, no pressure sales tactics, period. And that's why Joe Cotton Ford has won the Daily Herald's 2017 Reader's Choice Award. For the fourth year running, they've been recognized for the best auto service for a domestic auto dealer in the region. Now that's a place you want to do business with. At Joe Cotton Ford, you have their word. Your satisfaction is their top priority. Get to Joe Cotton Ford and drive home your new Ford car, truck, or SUV today. Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream or at joecottonford.com. That's joecottonford.com.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
Bryce's lifeless body slumped over the piano keyboard. His forehead played a dissonant chord that reverberated throughout the hall. Not his best performance, I thought. I opened the back of his neck with my screwdriver. A couple of fresh bars of lithium brought him and the music back to life. I am sure that someday he will do the same for me.
If this 20-second performance made you feel something, imagine what an entire Audible book can do. Visit audible.com to start your free 30-day trial.
If you're familiar with cloud computing, you probably know that Amazon Web Services offers a complete set of secure compute, storage, application, and deployment services that help companies launch and scale their IT infrastructures while lowering costs. But did you know that you're still responsible for protecting your own AWS-based assets, meaning your applications and data, from advanced cyber threats? Protect your AWS with Barracuda Network's advanced firewall solutions. Visit AWS Marketplace or barracuda.com/AWS to learn more.
Are you stuck in a bad home mortgage? Well, join the club that has about 10 million other American families. But I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest legal analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, I guarantee you'll never be alone in this country.
Message and data rates may apply.
Have you ever forgotten your password? With all the accounts you have and all the rules around passwords, remembering every single one is impossible. That's why millions of people are turning to Dashlane, the award-winning app that protects your passwords and creates an easy, secure way to access all of your accounts. And right now, you can get access to Dashlane free for life on your favorite device just by texting SECURE to 543-543. Over 6 million users manage their passwords with Dashlane. Over 6,000 companies trust Dashlane. And over 70,000 reviews give it a 5-star rating. But the only number that really matters? 0. Because that's how many times you'll forget your passwords using Dashlane. With Dashlane, your passwords are never misplaced and never forgotten. Simple, safe, secure. Unlock free access to Dashlane on your favorite device for life right now. Just text SECURE to 543-543. That's SECURE to 543-543.
What's the scariest thing about going to the dentist? Opening your mouth or opening your wallet? Because just a simple cleaning can cost $100, and things like root canals can cost you hundreds more. If you don't have dental insurance to help, you should give Physicians Mutual Insurance Company a call. 1-800-300-8038. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps pay for checkups right away, so you can call today and get your teeth cleaned tomorrow. Plus, it helps cover the more expensive procedures you might need down the road. Fillings, crowns, bridges, even costly dentures. There's no deductible and no annual maximum. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired or on Medicare. There are no networks, so you can choose any dentist you'd like. That's right, any dentist you want. Call and we'll rush you a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-300-8038. That's 1-800-300-8038. 1-800-300-8038.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing during the decline in the U.S. economy, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-461-8930. $89.37. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-461-8937 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-461-8937 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-461-8937.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
All right, we're going to bump up what Grover Norquist said against Ovik Roy, the editor of Forbes Opinion. He's got 3 ways that the Senate GOP can improve their Obamacare replace to get it passed and to make it more attractive to American families. And we'll discuss those 3 improvements, suggested improvements, with Ovik Roy at 8:08.
And later, a deadly, fatal mistake, all for attention on YouTube. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Governor Rauner says pass a budget or prepare to stay. No more Powerball sales in the state for now. A perjury charge dropped against an officer who pulled over Sandra Bland. Nats too much for the Cubs last night. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
It caused chaos at first and protests. Then it was blocked. Now it's back. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump's travel ban goes into effect later today after the Supreme Court unblocked it. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
When the travel ban goes into effect at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, foreign nationals from 6 predominantly Muslim countries with ties to terrorism can enter the country only if they have a credible claim of a bona fide relationship in the U.S. Otherwise, they're temporarily banned for 90 days. Those trying to come to the U.S. for business or professional reasons need to show a relationship that is formal, documented, and formed in the ordinary course rather than for the purpose of evading the executive order. Dave?
John, while Senate Republicans keep trying to figure out a bill to replace Obamacare they can all support, the House will vote today on 2 bills dealing with illegal immigration. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the bills crack down on illegal immigrants who commit crimes in the cities that provide them sanctuary. President Trump met with victims' families yesterday.
Your voices were heard all across the entire world, right? You better believe it. Nobody died in vain, I can tell you.
The No Sanctuary for Criminals Act cuts off certain federal funding to jurisdictions which refuse to cooperate with immigration officials. Kate's Law imposes tougher penalties for deported immigrants who come back to the U.S. The bill named for Kate Steinle, murdered in San Francisco by an undocumented immigrant deported multiple times. Dave.
Rachel, Democrats oppose the Sanctuary Cities bill, and critics of Kate's Law fear it would criminalize illegal immigrants who do not commit crimes. Police in Georgia are not going to file charges against a man and his son who endured a kidnapping ordeal, taken at gunpoint early yesterday, forced to drive to an ATM. At one point, the kidnapper put the gun down. The father reached for it, told his son to choke the guy, and then Dad fired 5 shots, killing him. The economy a little stronger than first thought in the first quarter, revised up to 1.4% for GDP growth. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Partly sunny skies this morning, 70 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. The National Weather Service has issued a flood warning for the Kishwaukee River, impacting Boone and Winnebago counties this morning. And there are reports of high water in low-lying areas along the Fox River, with some flooding as well after overnight and heavy rain. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner ratcheting up the pressure in Springfield, telling lawmakers if they don't pass a balanced budget by the end of the day tomorrow, he will keep them in Springfield until they do. Democrat obstruction of Rauner's budget plans, led by House Speaker Democrat Mike Madigan, has resulted in Illinois going without a full state budget for more than 2 years. Lotto players cannot buy Powerball and soon Mega Millions tickets in the state until there is a budget passed. The Illinois Lottery has suspended Powerball sales, and Mega Millions ticket sales will be suspended Friday. 2 women are dead following a shooting on Chicago's South Side. The victims were traveling in a vehicle last night when someone in another car fired shots at them near 53rd and Wabash. A judge will hear arguments today on whether to stop the new Cook County tax on soda and sugary drinks. The Illinois Retail Merchants Association filed lawsuits seeking a temporary restraining order. A hearing was set to be held yesterday but was postponed after the Cook County judge recused himself from the case yesterday and a new judge was assigned. That tax is scheduled to go into effect on Saturday. Aaron Judge belted his Major League leading 27th home run. Yankees pounded the White Sox 12-3. Steven Strasburg struck out 13. Nationals 8-4 winners over the Cubs. The news, a service of Office Depot Office Max. While you're taking care of business, Office Depot and Office Max are taking care of you with All Work Pro chairs and Magellan furniture on sale. 60% off a Magellan corner desk, now $96. Hurry, offer ends 7/4. It's 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Walgreens has terminated its merger with Rite Aid. Instead, Walgreens Boots Alliance is replacing the deal with an agreement to purchase approximately 2,100 stores. Also, the agreement to sell some Rite Aid stores to the drugstore chain Fred's has been terminated, and Walgreens will pay a $325 million termination fee. Walgreens will be acquiring some Rite Aid stores instead and will convert them to the Walgreens brand. Separately, Walgreens Boots Alliance earnings for the recent quarter were better than expected. Blue Apron, the meal kit delivery company, is going public today. It will trade on the New York Stock Exchange, though its stock debuts at the disappointing price of $10 a share. The company was hoping it would be worth as much as $17. The Dow closed up 143 points yesterday. NASDAQ was up 87. The S&P gained 21. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder believes Muslim leaders have a tough road ahead.
You look at the Quran, non-believers are given 3 options. You can convert, you can pay a tax as a second-class citizen, or you can be killed. Pick one. It seems to me that needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed by Muslim leaders and Muslims in general in the world. I don't know how we have a conversation where there's compatibility between Western values and people that subscribe to the tenets of Islam.
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
With Quicken Loans, our simple process helps you understand all the details so you can be confident that you're getting the right mortgage. Call 800-QUICKEN or go completely online with Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.23%. Call 800-QUICKEN or get started online at rocketmortgage.com. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Summer involves a lot of driving. To camp, to work, to soccer, back home to grab what they forgot, and then back to soccer again. So wouldn't you like to know your car is up for it? Enter Hum by Verizon. Now you can check your car's health from your phone with vehicle diagnostics. Drive with more peace of mind thanks to 24/7 emergency assistance. And let the kids stream and game on the go with your car's own Wi-Fi hotspot. Get Hum and get where you're going. Learn more at hum.com. Verizon Wi-Fi available on Hum X only. Data usage applies. Coverage not available everywhere. Visit vzw.com for availability.
8:07. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. It's like an early vacation break on the inbound Edens right now. 19 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. No significant delays. Outbound, it's heavy. Toohey to Willow. 26 minutes, Montrose to Lake Cook. Inbound Kennedy, slow central to the Hubbard Tunnel. 34 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. A little quicker in the locals than the express. Outbound 18 minutes to Montrose, 40 to the airport. The Eisenhower's 46 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 53. Stevenson 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 40. Ryan 29 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound stop and go 190 to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound from 115th to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. The Adams and Reagan Tollways are clear. Veterans Memorial, so 75th to the Reagan Tollway, Butterfield to Roosevelt, and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Southbound 53, heavy Rand to Kirchhoff. Northwest Indiana's good. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today breezy and warm with intervals of clouds and sunshine, along with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm late in the afternoon with a high getting up to 86. Showers and a thunderstorm tonight, low 68. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
71 at O'Hare, 70 along the lakefront. Our next news update is at 8:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Heard Saturdays at noon right here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, when we talked to Grover Norquist, the argument was about those who say scrap the Senate Obamacare replace bill altogether versus those who say vote it up and pass it and its current constitution post haste, and let's get this moved along so we can get to tax reform. And Grover is in the camp of there's enough benefits here, even though there are problems with it, even though there are improvements that can be made, that it's worthy of being passed on to move the Trump policy agenda along. Well, our next guest, Avik Roy, who is an expert in this area as well, he authored the book Transcending Obamacare, How Medicaid Fails the Poor. He's the editor of Forbes Opinion, and he's got a piece in Forbes that provides 3 ways that the Senate Republican Obamacare replacement bill can be improved. This is also can be found at the Foundation for Research on Equal Opportunity, can be found on their website as well. Joining us, Avik Roy. Thanks so much for joining us, Avik. Appreciate it.
Hey, good to be with you.
So one of the reasons...
You're in Chicago, so I'm enjoying the view that I have.
Oh, you're in Chicago, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Today, anyway.
Okay. Well, we're happy to have you. Now, one of the reasons we want to have you on is because you're kind of one of the most pronounced voices during this whole Obamacare debacle leading into the current consternation within the Republican camp about what replacement should look like, that really made the case that Obamacare hurts the poor. So for those middle or upper income households that were willing to take a hit on cost, even choice, because they felt like they were doing something good for those less fortunate, they weren't. And it seems to me that has been lost in the Republican argument on this topic. And so I just want you to address the Medicaid piece of this, why the reform of Medicaid is so important, and how the Senate Republican bill measures up on that score.
So the rhetoric from the left in objection to this Senate bill has been primarily of the variety that tens of thousands of people will die if this bill passes. And that's based on a number of very wildly inaccurate claims. The first is that a lot of people are going to be thrown off their health insurance because of this plan, which isn't true. There'll be some changes and some disruptions, perhaps, but not nearly what the Congressional Budget Office and others are claiming. That's number one. Number two, excuse me.
Bless you.
Well, sorry about that. The second thing is that Medicaid, about 60% to 2/3 of the Obamacare expansion of health insurance came through the Medicaid program. And the Medicaid program has shown to have absolutely zero benefit in terms of health outcomes, mortality, anything like that. So to the degree that the Senate bill actually repeals and replaces the Medicaid expansion of Obamacare with tax credits that allow people to buy private insurance, it's lifting them out of a program which will do nothing for their mortality or their life outcomes, health outcomes, things like that, to one that will. Private insurance consistently does deliver those kinds of outcomes.
Now, but how do you cut Medicaid? That's the way to cut Medicaid without looking heartless?
Well, yeah, I mean, whether it looks heartless or not, I mean, I'm a think tank guy, right? I try to care about what's the actual positive result, what the image is or the reputation. That's another issue. But from a standpoint of what the policy will actually do, what the Senate bill will actually do, the reason I support it is because it repeals the Obamacare Medicaid expansion. Again, an expansion that traps people in a program that doesn't actually make them healthier or live longer, and repeals and replaces, right? Republicans didn't campaign merely on repealing Obamacare. They campaigned on repealing and replacing Obamacare. So the replacement matters. And what this Senate bill does is it gives those people, every single one of those people who is eligible for the Medicaid expansion, will have the option to buy private coverage that will actually do a much better job of helping them out.
And you point out in your piece that I referenced at the top that the Senate bill is an improvement over the House bill on the tax credits component of it because they means test, but there's a way to improve it yet still, and what's that?
Well, so, as you said, the House bill, what the House bill did was it gave every single American, roughly speaking, about $3,000 to $4,000, $2,000 to $4,000 actually, to buy health insurance. Now, that's fine if you're really young or really healthy or your insurance costs are really low. But if you're middle-aged or older and your health insurance costs $9,000, $10,000, $11,000 a year, and you're really poor, let's say you're making $15,000 a year or $20,000 a year, near the poverty line, that's not going to be enough help for you. And so that was the problem with the House bill, is that it sort of over-subsidized people who don't really need the help and under-subsidized people who do. The Senate bill fixes that on the premium side. So the premium assistance in this bill is better. It's more tied to your actual financial need. However, still, let's say you're making $15,000 a year. Your premium is covered through the tax credit, but the deductible in the plan you buy might still be $5,000. So if you're making $15,000 a year, $5,000, 1/3 of your income, is a lot to spend on a deductible. And so the point I make is, why not give people some assistance in the form of health savings accounts that they can use to shop for the care that they need? And if they stay healthy, stay out of the hospital, that money can accumulate in an account that has compound interest. So they have an economic reward to stay healthy, but they do have some assistance to help them get through those high deductibles.
So it's essentially like a grant program?
Yeah, it would be a block grant to the states, that states would each get a proportional amount of the funds that they could use to set up assistance for their populations as they see fit. So instead of having it all done at the federal level, give states the option of how they think they best can use those funds to help their constituents. The reason why I proposed this, and something that's in the blog post, is that the Senate bill was scored by the CBO as spending a lot less money than the House bill, about $200 billion less. And so there's some fiscal room to address some of these concerns around deductibles, in my view.
And now, that we're discussing something the Republican Party is not touting enough. Now let's talk about something that they're really leading with, that you suggest maybe you shouldn't lead with so much, and that's the individual mandate. You argue that the individual mandate should be delayed until 2020-21. Why is that?
Well, I'm less wedded to that. I mean, I personally think the individual mandate is terrible policy. I've written years worth of, 5 years, 6 years, or 7 years worth of blog posts talking about how terrible the individual mandate is. But the individual mandate is designed to work with Obamacare. And what's important to remember is that this bill takes about 3 years to phase out Obamacare and phase in a more market-oriented approach. And so the argument here is, if you repeal the mandate immediately, which is what the bill does, but keep the rest of Obamacare in place for a couple more years until the Republican plan phases in, you're going to destabilize insurance markets. And that may lead to higher premiums and higher costs for the people who are already struggling with Obamacare's premiums having doubled. So the idea is you synchronize this. You repeal the individual mandate alongside repeal of all the other things in Obamacare that the bill does, instead of repealing the mandate first and leaving the other things about Obamacare in place for 2 more years and then going to the Republican system. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It does make sense. But the net of this right now, if you were Senator Avik Roy, is if it's presented to you for a vote, you vote it out of the Senate in its current formation.
Yeah, absolutely. If nothing changes in this bill, I still think this is a good bill. I think you pass it, and then if there are things you need to fix later, you can fix them, and particularly the deductible stuff, you might even be able to fix through bipartisan legislation, because I'm sure Democrats will be in favor of providing some assistance on the deductibles. So look, from my standpoint, I think the bill is great as it is. It's a huge advance for the free market cause and the cause of limited government. And the rest of this stuff is really, at the end of the day, important or unimportant to put in this bill, depending on what you need to get to 50 votes, right? So the holdout senators that are out there, what do they need? What are their policy concerns? What are they trying to address? So what I'm trying to do with that particular blog post is say, here are some ideas. You can throw them all out if you want. That's fine. But if some of these ideas might address the concerns you have and get us to a point where there are 50 votes for this bill, then here they are.
All right. He is Avik Roy, editor of Forbes Opinion, president of the Foundation for Research on Equal Opportunity, the author of the book Transcending Obamacare, How Medicaid Fails the Poor. Avik, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks a lot.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, just when you didn't think it could get any worse, President Trump has tweeted, are you ready? I heard poorly rated Morning Joe speaking badly of me, parentheses, don't watch anymore. Then how come low IQ crazy Mika, along with Psycho Joe, came to Mar-a-Lago 3 nights in a row around New Year's Eve and insisted on joining me? She was bleeding badly from a facelift. I said no! Exclamation point. Wow.
Is the she Joe or Mika?
Mika was bleeding badly from a facelift. And then I said, no, I don't. Okay. Clouds today. Breezy, warm, humid, shower, thunderstorm, likely a high of 84 degrees. Tonight, a few strong thunderstorms. And then Friday looks breezy. Can't rule out a shower or a thunderstorm in the morning and a high of 81 degrees. Now let's go into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, where a man always has responsible and respectful tweets. Here's Jim Telemonte.
And his original face.
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. Good morning, Amy and Dan. The inbound Kennedy got delays from Irving Park to the Hubbard Tunnel. It's 48 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 38 from Montrose, 31 on the Express. The Ohio feeder's heavy. The outbound side, 14 minutes to Montrose, 34 to the airport. Clear sailing on the inbound Edens. Outbound, slow Toohey to Willow. It's about a 7-minute delay. Inbound Eisenhower, 46 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, 30 from Manheim. Outbound 47 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Outbound it's 40. Ryan, 29 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive has southbound delays, Irving Park to North Avenue, and 18th to the Stevenson. Tri-State southbound, stop and go 190 to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound from 115th to the Hinsdale Oasis. And from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, Veterans Memorial slow Boughton to the Reagan Tollway, Butterfield to Roosevelt, from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Northwest Indiana's good. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO. I hate cleaning my gutters. I kept hearing ads for that gutter guard system, so I thought, why not? I'll get an estimate. I was shocked. I never thought gutter guards could cost so much. Then I heard about Spring Rock gutter guards. The estimate is free, so it made sense to at least compare them. I was shocked again by how much money they saved me. I'm talking thousands, like enough to take my family to Disney World. They take a different approach to gutter protection. A completely closed design keeps all types of debris out of your gutters. Sure, those higher-priced systems may keep the leaves out, but Spring Rock gets the job done at up to half the price with no compromise on quality. Spring Rock also comes with the same lifetime warranty. If the gutter system ever clogs, they will clean it out for free, no questions asked. Same result for less money. That's smart. There's more than one option when it comes to gutter guards. Compare today and save at springrockgutters.com or call 708-571-0632. Special financing is available. Drain your gutters, not your wallet.
AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues right now. And make sure to join me, Sean Hannity, this afternoon starting at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Just wanted to update the situation in the special session in Springfield, in the worst governed state in the history of America. That would be this one, Illinois.
Yeah. Aren't there 3 budget deals on the table that they're reviewing? Didn't Madigan release his budget dreams?
Yeah, Madigan
yesterday?
released a $36.5 billion budget without the details as to how he would pay for it.
Oh, yeah.
So that's not a budget.
Let's continue the theme of spending money we don't have.
I don't know if you understand the concept of a budget, but it includes the revenue and the spend.
Yeah.
Not just the spend, because you have to. Where's the revenue going to come from for all the spending you'd like to do? Have you ever done that in your home? Here's how much I'm going to spend this year. Yeah. Well, where are you going to get the revenue? Well, yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Like when you're buying a house, how much can you afford? Basic details.
By internet meme going around, I retweeted at Dan Proft. I'm sure at Amy Jacobson will pick it up.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
It's John Candy from Vacation standing outside Wally World saying Illinois is closed. The difference between Wally World and Illinois, though, is that nobody's trying to get into Illinois. Yeah, that's the difference. Here's something, though. Despite Ronner and Republicans doing their best to capitulate to Chicago Democrats and extend these horrific policies that have destroyed the state in the most curious way. Just follow my logic on this for a second, Lee. So for the last 2.5 years, and actually predating Ronner, Republicans have said Madigan's the most powerful politician in the state. It's his policy choices over 40 years that are the primarily responsible for destroying the state's economy, right? That's what they said. Both of those things are true. So what we want to do is cut a deal with him. Well, I'm sorry. So the logical jump. This is the guy whose policies have made Illinois the worst governed state in the history of America, and we're going to try and meet him halfway. Explain. You can't, other than surrender, and they can't concede surrender, so they kind of perfume it up with high-minded cliches about good government and compromise and bipartisanship and other nonsense. Thankfully, so far, Chicago Democrats are doing their best to save Bruce Ronner from himself. Yesterday, a property tax freeze, 4-year property tax freeze, which is one of the must-haves Ronner said he must have in order to sign any budget deal. That failed 59 to 46 in the House, fell 12 votes short of the supermajority needed to pass it. Barbara Flynn Curry, the House Majority Leader, she's the one who looks like Cruella de Vil if you're scoring at home. She
always wears black. Yeah.
She referred to a property tax freeze for the nation's, for homeowners who bear the nation's highest property tax burden. She referred to this as a tangential issue.
Oh, okay.
Do you think your property taxes are a tangential issue? Because Chicago Democrat leadership in the General Assembly does. Chicago Democrats think it's a tangential issue. Tell me if it's a tangential issue, Cook County residents, when you get your property tax bills before the month is out, if you haven't already.
You know, I did hear something fascinating. Mike Madigan, how much he pays in property taxes. He has a home worth $229,000.
Sure, just a regular middle-income guy.
Yeah, that's his
beard.
Yeah, his beard, because he really lives in a mansion in Florida,
in Dublin,
and then he's got that place too. Property taxes $4,600 a year.
Yeah,
that's nice. But he got those reduced. I mean, that's it. That's nice.
Well, then he hired Madigan Getzendaner, and he got that property taken off the rolls altogether. So that failed.
Jeez.
Now just remember, this is how bad the deal is that Republicans are proposing they would support. And you have Steve Anderson, this jellyfish Republican state rep from Geneva, Rock Rib, Geneva, Kane County. He was crying yesterday, literally crying about the failure to reach a deal. This is the profiles in courage you have in the Republican leadership and, frankly, in too much of the Republican caucus. There are exceptions, but there are not enough exceptions. That's why they're exceptions, and they're not the leaders. Here's the deal, though. Even what they proposed that fell 12 votes short, this 4-year property tax freeze, temporary, number one, so you can't rely on it. Number two, would have exempted Chicago schools, Chicago Public Schools, CPS, and 17 other financially distressed school districts. It would have also exempted many city payments on long-term debt and other their contributions to police and fire pensions. So it would have been a freeze that finds your property taxes going up. That's what a freeze is in Illinois. It's the opposite. And this is one of the things that Governor Rauner and House and Senate Republican leaders are saying. They're willing to sign a 32% increase in the personal income tax, raising the corporate tax from 5.25 to 7 in a state where businesses are fleeing like it's on fire, in addition to cable TV and taxes and extension of sales tax on services like landscaping and dry cleaning and the like. And they talk about a $36 billion spending cap. Last year, the state took in $33 billion. They're predicating their proposed spending cap on massive tax increases, the revenue from them. This is why Illinois is the worst governed state in the nation. And if Bruce Rauner wants to be reelected and wants to actually accomplish the structural reforms he set out to implement, then he better hope either Chicago Democrats keep bailing him out or he walks back from what he said he would sign. Because otherwise, it's over for him. It's over for Republicans for a decade at least.
And it's over for us.
Bingo.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
How high is the cost, speaking of high costs, in the delay to drain the swamp, as President Trump promised? We're going to put that question to Ed Fulner, the founder and president of the Heritage Foundation, at 8:38.
And they did it for attention, for hits on their YouTube channel, and now someone's dead. We'll tell you what happened. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 70 degrees outside, partly sunny skies in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner ratcheting up pressure, he says, in Springfield, issuing a warning to lawmakers. If there is not a balanced budget passed by the end of the day tomorrow, he will keep lawmakers at the State House until they do. The newly elected president of South Korea will be in Washington today. Moon Jae-in will have dinner with the president at the White House tonight and Oval Office meetings. The U.S. is boosting security on international flights to the U.S. Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly announcing yesterday there will be enhanced screening of carrying on electronic devices, baggage, and broader passenger vetting. The House expected to vote on 2 immigration bills today. One of the measures aims to crack down on sanctuary cities that limit their cooperation with federal immigration authorities. Senate Republicans still trying to find a way to get their health care bill passed. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says a vote on health insurance reform is being delayed until after July 4. 2 women are dead following a shooting on Chicago's South Side. Police say the victims were traveling in a vehicle last night when someone in another car shot at them near 53rd and Wabash. Investigators tell us no arrests have been made. Administrators at Oak Park River Forest High School assuring parents that threatening messages received via email this week were not credible, even though they did prompt a soft lockdown yesterday at the school. Summer school students and campers were kept in their classrooms for about 90 minutes until the all clear was sounded. Aaron Judge belted his major league leading 27th home run. Yankees pound the White Sox 12-3. Nationals over the Cubs 8-4. And NL MVP Chris Bryant apparently sprained a right ankle badly in the 6th inning. The news, a service of Lowe's. Shop Lowe's and save on your summer to-do list. Now get $10 to $40 off paint, exterior stains, and resurfacers via rebate. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Offer valid 6/21 through 7/5. Exclusions apply. U.S. only. 8:33, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com. Providing the right climate for business since 1935. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Visit Discount Tire this Friday and Saturday for up to $320 in Visa prepaid cards when you buy select packages with Discount Tire credit. Discount Tire, America's neighborhood tire store.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gevalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-900-1904. That's 1-800-900-1904. 1-800-900-1904.
8:35. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Tri-State Tollway southbound 294, stop and go 190 to the Bensonville Bridge, northbound from 115th to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. The Adams and Reagan Tollways are fine. Veterans Memorial, northbound delays, Fountain to the Reagan Tollway, Butterfield to Roosevelt, and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Eden's inbound clear, 19 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, and outbound 26. Inbound Kennedy, 48 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 38 from Montrose, 31 in the Express. Outbound 14 minutes to Montrose, 34 to the airport. The Eisenhower runs 46 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, 30 from Manheim. Outbound 47 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 57 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan is 29 minutes, 95th to downtown, Lakeshore Drive. Southbound slow, Belmont to North Avenue and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound a little heavy, Soldier Field to Jackson. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Variable clouds this morning, more humid this afternoon with a shower or thunderstorm expected and a high near 84. Currently 72. Next news at 9. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Wine Time Radio. Every Saturday at 5 p.m. on AM 560, explore the wonderful world of wine with host James Crooker and Rob Lehner.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so the question is, you know, President Trump and many that rode into D.C. with him promised to drain the swamp. And that meant, at least in part, attacking the administrative state, this fourth branch of government, this unaccountable branch of government that imposes reams of regulations on entrepreneurial capitalists and thus limits economic output and job opportunities for Americans. So it seems like President, because of distractions like Russiagate, in quotations, is slow walking the swamp draining. And the question is, how much is that costing us? And can they pick up the pace? And to answer that question, we're pleased to be joined by the founder and president He retired. Then he came out of retirement to be the president again of the Heritage Foundation. He is Ed Feulner. Ed, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Great to be back with my hometown. Good to talk to you, Dan.
That's right, Chicago native. And so what about this? The great promise about the swamp draining, Bannon being focused on the administrative state. But the question is, 6 months in, where are we?
Well, made some great progress on specific items, whether it is approval for building the pipelines, deregulating energy, and all the rest. But I just did my own kind of back-of-the-envelope calculation, Dan, and reforming Dodd-Frank, which bill has already passed the House, Jeb Hensarling did a great job on that one, would save $500 million a year, just $500 million a day in terms of reduced regulation on the economy. Reforming health care would save another $500 million, and the midpoint of the different tax reform proposals would grow the economy by $2 billion. Now, you add those numbers up, you're talking about billions of dollars every day when the Congress isn't in session and isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that means lost jobs that just aren't created. And it's very frustrating to be down here and to be able to talk to friends back home saying, hey, the good guys are in charge of all branches of the government, and yet it isn't happening. What's going on? Well, let's get the act together, guys and gals, and make it happen.
But elites argue that, a lot of regulation and special rules help keep everyone safe.
That's the usual argument, Amy. The problem is that every time it keeps somebody safe for something, it also constrains and stops new ideas from coming in, entrepreneurs from inventing new things. And sure, it helps the established firms and the established big guys because they can always hire the lawyers and the accountants to go along with it. But the little guy is not able to get started, and the new ventures that come along and really shake up the system and create new opportunities and new jobs are just not coming online.
Well, right, and I mean, and safety and pro-growth are not mutually exclusive. I mean, it's an issue of scope and redundancy, as William F. Buckley famously said. I don't know if this is true, but it's a line that points to the problem. There are more words in the Federal Register governing the production of cabbage than there are in the Declaration of Independence, and that's sort of a problem, the regulatory state. But the question is, where is the failing occurring? Is it you've got a lot of good free market types and cabinet positions. Is it a question of personnel underneath those cabinet secretaries that are the implementers, or what is it that is slowing the address of some of what's promulgated from administrative agencies, in addition to what Congress can do through legislative action, as you were mentioning, like with Dodd-Frank?
Yeah. Dan, it is a combination of the different factors you mentioned. First thing is, one of my basic laws of looking at the federal government here is people are policy. If Donald Trump doesn't have the right people going down 3 and 4 levels inside the administrative state, inside his own administration, the people who've been in charge of those departments for the last 20 years are the same ones who are going to be out there, and their total reaction is, hey, the status quo is pretty good, let's just reinforce the status quo. Well, Donald Trump was not elected, and the Republicans were not elected to take over both houses of Congress by reinforcing the status quo. They were elected, I believe, because people expected real change down here. And come to grips with this,
And some of the personnel decisions that haven't been made are baffling, including to members of Congress. For example, perhaps the most prominent example at present, William Koskinen still at IRS, even though he presided over the IRS targeting of Americans for political and religious beliefs. Why is he still there?
Yeah, why is he still there when, the House has already introduced resolutions to impeach him? And that's a question that is I would say, looking across town at the White House, that's above my pay grade to tell you the answer to that one. But, boy, it's a good question, and we're going to have the Secretary of the Treasury over here at Heritage in the next couple of weeks. And since the IRS commissioner reports to him, maybe somebody from the audience will ask him that question. We'll see.
And how would you like to see that?
There is no easy answer for it. Again, you look across department by department, and you're only you've only have the secretary, sometimes the deputy secretaries, not even all of them are confirmed. And then Chuck Schumer, of course, is doing everything he can to slow walk it. But one of my big complaints, frankly, is here we are, we're coming up on a 37-day recess in August. There are about 2 weeks of business left in July. I just wish, frankly, my old friend Mitch McConnell would go in there and say, Schumer, we're going to go in session 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're going to clear up the backlog of all the pending appointments here, and we're going to start moving on some of these things, and let's make them start to happen.
So do you think Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, was he effective in trying to help pass this health care bill in the Senate?
Amy, I think it's going to come together. My own conversations over there, I think Ted Cruz and Mike Lee are pretty close to coming on board, and when that happens, and if we can figure out how to solve the Medicaid problem for the state of Nevada, we get Heller back on board, then you're back to where you need to be. And I think it's pretty close, and I think that will happen. And when that happens, again, you're by reducing the uncertainty, by giving more opportunity out there for growing the economy and letting the economy grow. Again, National Center for Policy Affairs down in Dallas did a study. The economy is being held back by $500 million a day in lost growth because of the confusion right now on health care. $500 million translates to 250 jobs every day that we're losing.
What did you make of the dust-up between Rexon and Jared Kushner yesterday over, again, talking about personnel being policy, over appointees that Tillerson wanted at state that apparently were being held up by the White House? He was none too happy about it, and Kushner was none too happy about his personnel guy being berated by Tillerson. What's the dynamic there?
Personnel in every administration is always the most sensitive area. Again, personnel and people are policy, and who gets the final say? I've been involved in things in this town going back to the Nixon administration, and we had the same kind of fights back then between cabinet secretaries in the White House. And there will always be a trade-off. But the first thing has to be, is the new person who is proposed, whether it comes from Secretary of State Tillerson or whether it comes from the Office of Presidential Personnel, is she or he going to be loyal to the president's agenda? They work for the president. They don't necessarily work for the cabinet secretary, and they've all got to embrace the president's agenda. And that's what Ronald Reagan did so well in terms of reinforcing the fact that they're all a unified team across the whole federal government, and you get everybody working from the same shared agenda. And that, Tillerson he was a very effective CEO of one of America's largest corporations, but he's not in charge anymore. The president's in charge, and they've all got to be singing from the same song sheet, and that's basically what the White House is supposed to be coordinating. I think it'll get back to where it should be, but and frankly, again, the problem is that everything is being slow walked in all these departments.
They need to quicken the pace.
Great speeches on school choice.
Yeah.
There's nobody there to implement it.
Yeah, right. Well, that's another good example. All right. He is Ed Fulner, founder and president of the Heritage Foundation. The piece we're referencing, the high cost of waiting to drain the swamp, that you can find at heritage.org. Ed, thanks as always for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan and Amy.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm trying to get interpretations from President Trump's tweet when he said to Mika she was bleeding badly from a facelift. This is when they went to his Mar-a-Lago resort for 3 nights around New Year's Eve. She was bleeding badly from a facelift. I said no! ! He said no to what?
He said no, Joe Scarborough, don't marry her.
Forecast, variable cloudiness today. Warm, a high of 84 degrees. It'll be humid out there, but we can't rule out a shower or a thunderstorm. Tonight, a very strong thunderstorm early. And then tomorrow, Friday, it'll be breezy. We'll have some rain, a thunderstorm in the morning, a high of 81 degrees. Let's get the latest travel times. Here is Jim Talamonte. Tell me more.
Thanks, Amy. Dan, good morning. Rosemont, got a traffic issue at River Road and Higgins. Lights are out, so police are directing there. The Edens looks great. 19 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound, it's 27. Inbound Kennedy, delay is started Irving Park. 48 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 38 from Montrose. 31 in the Express. Outbound, 14 minutes to Montrose. 34 to the airport. The Eisenhower, 49 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. 27 from Mannheim. Outbound, it's 40 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 57 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 36. Ryan, 28 minutes, 95 to downtown. Lakeshore Drive. Delays southbound are Belmont to North Avenue and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Tri-State southbound. Stop and go 190 to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound, slow Archer to 31st and from the Reagan to North Avenue. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey, how would you like to have insurance for your computer network? Something to protect your hardware and software, and more importantly, give you peace of mind. Well, using Turnkey IT for installation and support of your systems is like having insurance for your computer network. For one affordable monthly payment, your company gets a full team of certified technicians who are there for you. They work in the background to ensure your systems are up and running. They offer Office 365 hosting, advanced network protection, cloud backup, disaster recovery, and unlimited remote and on-site support. They'll make house calls or come to your workplace if necessary. So find out what Turnkey IT can do for your company. It's easy. Visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
If you want to stay on top of your health, one simple thing to do
is take the pledge to go and get screened for the cancers that might affect you.
So stand up, cancer, and take the pledge at GetScreenedNow.org.
It only takes a minute to take care of yourself,
and nothing rhymes with org.
Talk to your doctor about your health and screenings that are right for you.
You don't need a thermometer to tell you it's hot and getting hotter, but you might need Scott's Turf Builder with Summer Guard. Right now, you can save up to $10 at the Home Depot. Turf Builder with Summer Guard helps lawns absorb water and nutrients, guarding against longer days, higher heat, and little rain. In other words, summer. Be on guard with Scott's Turf Builder with Summer Guard, and right now save up to $10 from the #1 retailer for Scott's fertilizer, the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid through July 5th.
Ever since I was little, I imagined owning a bakery. With hard work, I made it happen. But after this weekend's robbery, I realized that I need to protect my dream with security.
I've got a great answer for you. Alarm Detection Systems, your local family-owned business, understands the threats you might face. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300 and find out how we can protect you. License number 127000143.
I manage a construction site, and the other morning we had to send half of the crew home because of missing equipment. This nonsense is cutting into my time and budget.
Here's what you need to know. Alarm Detection Systems offers mobile security solutions that expand with your project. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300 to find out about our alarm and video protection. License number 127000143.
Yes, indeed. Summertime. Another hot one. Wait, gonna be a little bit cooler today. Back to hot. Gonna be windy. Maybe a thunderstorm mixed in for good measure. Up and down and up and down. The climate is always changing. Your company's heating and cooling system really gets a workout in Chicagoland. Be ready for anything this summer. Call Air Comfort and get your business's cooling system tuned up and running at peak performance. You see, the Air Comfort problem solvers can find small problems before they become big problems. Plus, proper maintenance will keep your system from wasting energy and money. Air Comfort will make sure your equipment is clean and obstacle-free. And if your chiller is about to or has stopped working, they can install temporary solutions to keep you cool while the long-term fixes are put in place. The key to keep your climate from changing is preventative maintenance, and Air Comfort can help. Schedule a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system today. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. In 2008, Barack Obama scaled Chicago's big government trafficking operation nationally. The nation got only a small taste of the damage Chicago's RICO-style governance inflicts. Illinois has not been so fortunate. The kleptocratic kingpins who run the city that works you over have relegated Illinois to the status of a cautionary tale as to how a poisonous government-centric culture turns the state into one giant Ponzi scheme. corruption. Politics pervades everything in Illinois. The result is that the nation's highest combined state and local tax burden has proven no match for the spending appetites of Pauls, who've racked up $250 billion in debt while skipping out on more tabs than Leona Helmsley in her heyday. With collapse in the offing, the Sicarios for Illinois' political crime family seek a federal lifeline in the form of state bankruptcy. Congress should consider removing sovereign immunity protections to make an example of those who turned Illinois into the bad example. Of America's 50 laboratories of democracy, Illinois is the meth lab. If we want to prevent more states from getting hooked on junk governance, the Bernie Madoff treatment should be applied to those who cook the books in Illinois.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
For 5 years, I was with this other company, and I tried everything, and it was costing me a fortune. And on top of that, it wasn't working. And I said, ever since I've taken this product, I have kissed that goodbye. Matter of fact, I said, this has been the first winter that I have gone through without a flu or nothing.
Last year I started on the Balance of Nature. I'm telling you, it really built me up, and it really helped me.
My cholesterol went down. Only after taking it 1 month, I went down 20 points.
I feel better already with it. I just feel it's made my life more predictable, more useful.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Do you know that the time your children spend in school for 1 year is as much time as they will spend in church in over 5 years? Why would we want our children to be in a school that denies God and His truth? Christian Liberty Academy was founded in 1968 to provide a place that would affirm and strengthen what our children learn at home and in their churches. We have a great location in Arlington Heights, outstanding faculty and facilities, a strong biblical worldview emphasis, and an affordable tuition price compared to similar schools. We provide a comprehensive and accredited curriculum that will prepare your child for college and beyond. From preschool all the way through 12th grade, discover the positive difference that Christian Liberty Academy can make in their education and life. Schedule a personal tour today and get more information at ChristianLibertyAcademy.com or call 847-385-2013.
Ransomware is software that can infiltrate your business through email, enabling cyber criminals to hijack sensitive information as ransom for your own data's release. Leveraging Barracuda email security with advanced threat detection can stop a ransomware attack in its tracks. As an added measure, Barracuda Backup allows you to recover your data without having to surrender to extortion. Crime doesn't pay when you protect your business data with Barracuda. Go to barracuda.com/ransomware to learn more.
I'm Dana Lash with NRA Carry Guard. I carry my firearm every day. I pray I'll never be forced to use it. But if I do, I know NRA Carry Guard will have my back. I can choose up to $1 million in insurance-backed protection, plus a special attorney referral network to give me the representation I need. Learn more and sign up today at nracarry.com or call 1-866-NRA-1234 to become an NRA Carry Guard member today.
AM 560, The Answer.
So, Amy, the desire to be a YouTube star ran into 2 Darwin Award nominees.
Well, you could say their stunt backfired. Oh, I'm sorry, too soon. A 22-year-old girl.
Fired forward, actually.
Mona Lisa Perez. She thought it'd be cool to shoot her boyfriend who had an encyclopedia on his chest. Now, she said that her boyfriend shot a similar book and the bullet didn't go all the way through the book, so they thought that this would be a good idea, to do something risky. She even tweeted, "Me and Pedro are probably going to shoot one of the most dangerous videos ever. His idea, not mine." So she shot him with a, what was the
50 cal.
50 caliber, standing.
Desert Eagle.
Yeah, 50 caliber Desert Eagle, standing a foot away, just 12 inches away.
And then what happened?
Well, he died from a fatal gunshot wound to the chest.
He wanted to have so many babies. I remember him telling me.
That's the aunt who's broken up. He did have a daughter with this woman, and she's 8 months pregnant. But again, they did it all for attention.
He had told me about an idea, and I said, don't do it. Don't do it. Why are you going to use a gun? Why? Because we want more viewers.
Because we want more viewers. We want more followers. This is like being a YouTube star. It's free money. I mean, I know some YouTube channels.
First, you have to get followers.
Well, right, but this is
how do you become
thing.
a millionaire? First, you have $1 million. Being a YouTube star, how do you become a YouTube star? First, you're a YouTube star.
Right,
you have to get the followers.
Right, you've got to get the followers, but then the money comes in. I mean, remember Daddy 05? They made 6 figures. It was ridiculous. But this is a prank, according to the family. They don't want her charged with involuntary manslaughter.
They were in love. They loved each other. It was just a prank gone wrong.
Well,
it shouldn't have happened.
She's
like
being
this.
charged with second-degree involuntary manslaughter.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, her aunt does not get to adjudicate these matters.
No, she doesn't.
The fact that she's got to live with this for the rest of her life, that alone is a charge to me.
So she faces up to 10 years behind bars. Their 3-year-old daughter, and she's pregnant again with her second child. They have released her on bond. She's wearing a electronic monitoring system so that she could still be with the kids.
If you want to be a YouTube star, do something that adds value. Don't do stupid human tricks, particularly ones that are potentially lethal. By the way, since I mentioned the Darwin Award winning.
Oh, yes.
Don't have time to go into it too much today. Maybe we'll do 4 hours tomorrow on the origin of species or the descent of man. But
I just picked the descent of man.
Darwin was a crank. You understand this. The whole basis was the evolution of plants and animals predates Darwin, and then his entire book about human beings is just speculative talk, and it's actually based on Thomas Malthus and his theory about wealthiest societies being the most populous, which was wrong. Malthus was actually arguing against communism, not for population control. So there's a lot to distill here that these YouTube stars have prompted, so I guess they did serve a value of some sort.
And we'll begin there tomorrow, but now here is Mike Scott.
Governor Rauner says pass a budget or prepare to stay at the Capitol. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.